I didn't even watch the sprint. Oh, we're already starting. I just realized that it says sprint on there, and I go, girl, I didn't even know we had a sprint. I thought it was a practice, and then people were like, Oscar won. And I was like, or no, Max won. I was like, Max won what? Practice?
He won practice.
That feels really soft.
I think that's our cold open for today is me starting the episode and you admitting right off the bat you didn't watch half the F1 weekend. So that's really good. That's the kind of podcast we run around here.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that the countdown was going on. I wasn't paying attention. That's on me.
Well, don't go anywhere, guys, because I have a full F1 section that we're going to talk about F1. But you have to realize podcasting is extremely hard, and me and MJ literally are just coming off the back of watching the IndyCar and the NASCAR race at the same time. So this is a really professional run podcast, and we actually know everything about wheel. Okay, my name is Andrea, knower of everything about wheel. What's your name?
I'm MJ, Libra, 26, Iowa.
And with that, welcome to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. So great to see you guys back here again. A full weekend of racing. F1 is back, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, like I just said, IndyCar and NASCAR. We are thinking about maybe we've heard some feedback that people really like our lives. I don't know if we ever mentioned that we met a bunch of folks at Iowa that were really cool. And they were like, yeah, I used to tune into your guys' lives. And we haven't done one of those in a while, but we will maybe do one this week. So be sure to follow us on Instagram or TikTok. Probably TikTok at LapsDownPod is where we'll go live. Well, no, it'll be on our personal TikToks. But if you follow so everything I've said thus far, let's go ahead and scratch it. You know what I mean?
I'll post about it on Threads. That's how you'll find out. It'll be on Threads.
Don't direct people to our Threads. No,
go to my Threads.
If you follow us on Instagram Threads or TikTok, we'll talk about it.
It's gonna be on my Threads.
Announce when we're gonna go live. No, you're gonna post it on our TikTok and our Instagram.
No, it's just gonna be on Threads. You guys, you'll find it. I promise. You gotta look for it.
I do like Threads, and I do go on Threads. I will say people have been kind of getting sassy with me in my Threads. Like, people don't understand anything I say is a joke on Threads for some reason, and I get, like, lots of know-it-all responses. So I've started going back on Twitter, because I'm like, at least on Twitter, somebody will tell me to shut my fucking mouth. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. To be fair, your tone is kind of hard to read. Like, just cold read off of text. so like I'll see it and I'll be like haha, and then I'll go to the comments and I'll go, oh no, yeah, they've never heard Andrea speak outside of the context of Threads before, and they think she's being genuine, and that might be an issue.
People are so weird. Like, they literally always have some sort of know-it-all response, and I can't be doing it. The one I got the most hate for was a couple weeks ago. I put on Threads, like, just so you guys know, I would have hated Lewis Hamilton forever if he would have passed Nico Hülkenberg and taken his podium. Yeah. I got a lot of Lewis haters on that one. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Oops. Sorry to the people that really like Lewis. I'm not a hater, I promise. I just, you know how it is. Nico,
it's just a joke.
Yeah,
it's just a giggle.
Joke.
It's okay. It's not that deep.
When I said hate, I didn't actually mean hate. You know what I mean?
No, and it also didn't happen. So, like,
yeah, it's a fake scenario. So
yeah, we're operating under a lot of different scenarios to be able to be angry about this, and that must be exhausting.
Yeah, so I'm just back on Twitter now, but I do still post on Threads. I just post the same thing on both apps. I think it's fun. It's kind of like when you post the same thing on your Instagram Reels, and like on TikTok, it's like everybody thinks it's really funny, and then on Reels, it's like,
I'm getting death threats.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Okay, well, they ate this up on TikTok, so I thought it'd be safe over here. It's never safe on Reels.
No. But anywho, follow us. Whatevs. Do you want to talk about F1 and the sprint you didn't freaking watch?
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of... Well, can I tell you everything I know about what happened in the sprint?
Yeah.
I heard at one point Max overtook Oscar, and then that's kind of most of what happened. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
You got it all, girl. Basically, we did like a practice, nobody cares, and then we did sprint qualifying. Oscar ended up setting a lap record in the sprint qualifying for Spa. It was insane. Like, he was very much ahead of everybody else. But then behind him was Max, and then behind Max was Lando. And also, it didn't matter because Max just got Oscar on the start, and then that was that. 15 laps of that. That was that. No need to worry about anything further, I guess. I don't know. Sprint races, I do like them. I think they're better than a practice as a viewer. But, like, maybe not at Spa. I think you have to choose the sprint races wisely, and that wasn't wisely chosen.
That's my thing, too, is, like, I don't inherently dislike the concept of sprints. Like, I think that could be really cool, especially if it feels like this is going to be a super strategic race or a lot of people are bringing upgrades. Like, I think it can be fun and exciting. However, we just seem to choose, like, the absolute worst tracks to do it at. Like, Miami doesn't need a sprint. I mean, we do know what tracks have a sprint for next year. And I thought it was interesting
about to pull it up. Yeah.
Yeah, the Canadian Grand Prix has one next year. And I was like, you're going to have a sprint weekend rival the Indy 500? Girl.
Yeah, they're really funny. I think they're like getting nervous a little bit. I think they like are like, you guys are gonna watch Canada, right?
Please, guys, please. What if we put a sprint during Canada, which is usually a rainy race, isn't it?
I was just about to say, like, it's also like a chance that it gets like completely fucking rained out and stuff. Like, okay, so for next year they have China as a sprint, which China was a sprint this year. I think that one's like fine with the exception of it's at like 2 fucking a.m. So it's like, I'll watch it when I get up, I guess. Like, you guys have fun in China. Be safe. I won't be watching live. Miami was only an interesting sprint this year because of the rain. It like weirdly turned into like a strategy race. Like, there was like wet tires, there was slicks. Like, that was a fluke, I think. I mean, I guess it could rain in Miami again, but like, if it doesn't, it's not really the most interesting sprint. We have Canada. Don't give a fuck. That's the day before the Indy 500, so I'm sure I'll be doing something a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I should. If I play my cards right, I should be blackout drunk during the sprint.
Yeah. You guys be safe out there. I'm gonna be crashing Indy 500 parties with Joseph Newgarden. So you guys have so much fun. Stay safe. Next we have Silverstone, which I think that's interesting. They must
another
be doing
rain place. Are these all fucking rain places? And then China, which is at like 2 a.m. Oh, I don't want to see a sprint in the rain.
It rains.
It rains in China?
the whole
Where
country,
are we safe?
yeah. I think that they're doing Silverstone because here's what I'm picturing. They're like, okay, we have like a lot of people on the grid that are like British drivers. Maybe we could have 2 British winners in the same weekend. Like, one of them can win the sprint. It won't matter because I'm sure the McLaren will somehow still be dominating next year, even with the new regulations.
It's just going to be 2 Lando wins. The Lando stand doesn't need that. They're fine. They would be fine with a Lando P2. You don't have to give them a win. They already had one.
No, they don't need that. They don't need 2 for sure. They're also doing Zandvoort because, well, they're like, we could get 2 max wins, and the Orange Army loves that.
I thought Zandvoort was gone after this year. Is it gone after next year? When does Zandvoort go away?
I don't know. Zandvoort's the one that leaked the fucking schedule. So, like, they were like, just so you guys know, please buy tickets to this. You can buy tickets for next year if you want.
That is so funny.
And then this is really interesting to me. They're also doing a sprint at Singapore, which I'm like, wait, is that the street track that you can't really pass on and everybody just is like trying not to hit a wall? It's like,
didn't we do a sprint there last year? Because I think that was one of Liam Lawson's first races, and he ended up parking it in the gravel. I distinctly remember that. It was a night race. I think it was a sprint race, a sprint weekend. Wouldn't that be crazy if I remembered something about F1? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Hold on, she's cooking. I know Liam's first race, I think, ever in F1 was Singapore. I don't know if it was.
I simply am not correct. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. And
Me just Googling Liam Lawson banking it.
I mean, that could be anywhere.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
Never
maybe
listen
she's
to me.
remembering like a DTS storyline, but then I realized like you don't even watch DTS, so like
Maybe,
you just
you know
actually
what?
fully imagined that.
Yeah, maybe it was an F1 POV, if I'm being honest. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Sorry, she's you know how she is with her Liam Lawson edits. Um, that one was for the New Zealand fans.
Love New
And
Zealand. Shout
love
out.
New Zealand. Big ups, New Zealand. Can we go to New Zealand? I was actually thinking that the other day, and I was like, how do I like convince my job that they need to like send me to New Zealand for a work trip or something like that?
I feel like, yeah, you just ask them. You'll be like, no, guys, I feel like it's like a really good idea. You guys aren't reading the same news I am. We should definitely
Yeah.
be in New Zealand right now.
Yeah, we could go to like a Hobbit land together.
That
That's
would
where
be
SVG's
fun.
from, I think.
He's just one of the really big hobbits. I've never seen Lord of the Rings, but I know there's
What?
big people in it. Like tall
Oh
people.
my god, New Zealand's so great. It's like where Lord of the Rings was filmed. It's where Lord is from. Lord of the Rings, LORDE of the Rings. Yeah, all of our
Okay.
friends are from there. We can go with them if you want. Like we can invite SVG and Scotty Mac, and maybe if he's nice, Marcus can come along. Definitely Scott Dixon. He'll be there.
Oh yeah, Scott Dixon will be there. That would be fun. I always wanted to go to New Zealand because I followed like travel channels, but they only traveled to New Zealand in an RV. And I was like, no, that sounds great. That's actually my preferred way of travel.
Yeah. How'd they get the RV across the ocean?
They got there and then got into the RV.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's a clarifying.
It's just a really big bridge. You never heard of engineering before?
Okay. Woo! Glad we're off to a good start. Max wins the sprint race. Oscar gets second. Lando gets third. Pretty boring race. Who cares? Womp womp. But then we go straight into qualifying, and there's some interesting storylines between the two qualifyings that I think are like worth pointing out. So Hamilton is out in sprint qualifying 1, and everybody goes, "Oof, not good." And then he's also out in regular qualifying 1. And the first one was because of just pace. The second one was because I think he spun. And the second one was because of his lap time being deleted because of track limits. I think that this is like people started like Lewis Hamilton is washed. I don't know why, but this was like the breaking point. I guess people have been kind of saying he's been washed for a while now, but I will say I've
every
seen
weekend.
lots of Lewis Hamilton. You need to quit F1 before F1 quits you. I don't know. I mean, like, part of me, I'm like, maybe the Ferrari is just kind of a shit car, but then it's like Charles was kind of doing much better than he has been doing in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, but
and they did bring
Charles-
some upgrades.
Charles is like genetically tied to the Ferrari at this point. Like after you do something that sucks for like many years, eventually you get good at it.
That's what Max has been doing.
That's what
The last,
Max
like,
has
2
been
years.
doing. That's what Alex Albon's been doing. It's like,
Yeah.
it's the same shit, different liveries.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was easy. Glad we solved that. Lewis,
Yeah, guys,
you
stop
haven't suffered.
crying.
Lewis, you haven't suffered enough, and that's why you're not doing well.
Just because he said this weekend, he said something along the lines of like, I am not leaving Ferrari till I win a championship with them. And I was like,
I've heard that before from
hey,
Charles.
bro, I gotta tell you something that's really gonna make your tummy hurt. But this man that's next to you every single weekend, he's snorting the same shit that you are. It ain't gonna work out, my brother. It's not happening, friends. We gotta get you both out of there. I think, but it's also so hard because I don't know enough about like what goes on at Ferrari, but it's like, what do they need to fix it? Like, what do they need? Because it's like, the cars are bad, sure. Like, I mean, when I'm saying bad, I feel I'm just gonna do my my Ferrari rant again. It's not that bad. Like, it's bad, but it's like, maybe it's not what you expect if you were a big Ferrari fan back in like the 1700s and you're like, no, we're winning every single race. It's just not gonna be that. So what do you need? Do you need new management? Do you need new strategists? Do you need new drivers? Like, how, help me help you, Ferrari.
I think maybe, I think Charles is the problem. Yeah, I think Charles is bringing some sort of generational bad luck to that team, and I think if Charles left, then they would win a championship. That's the kind of bad luck Charles has. You know what I mean?
So maybe we just move him out,
And then Lewis will
you know
win
what?
one.
I know what we'll do. We can do a
Okay.
little exchange program. Because wasn't Robert Schwartzman supposed to be a Ferrari driver in the Ferrari? Yeah.
Yep.
This is obvious. I think probably
Yep.
people have already said this because of how obvious it is. We swap in Robert Schwartzman for Charles, and then we take Charles to IndyCar.
Okay. I was kind of thinking Zhou Guan Yu, maybe, but like I like.
You think he'd want to go to IndyCar?
No, I just thought Zhou Guan Yu could just have it. You know what I mean? I didn't really think much about what Charles would be up to. I figured he'd be fine.
I love Zhou Guan Yu so dearly. I don't think I ever want him in that Ferrari seat. It would hurt my feelings.
Okay. Can Zhou Guan Yu do the Prema thing, or?
You want him to go to IndyCar?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he can go to IndyCar.
Prema's
doing great.
I don't think Zhou Guan Yu has the crazy.
What if he's just like secretly like, oh, why don't they ever bring up my name in these conversations about the Indy 500? Why don't they ever say that I'm crazy enough? I feel like I'm crazy enough.
He's the one doing the rookie test with Zach Brown. Whatever, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We can't spoil that conversation. It'll be so fruitful. So then we also had Kimi Antonelli, who spins and is out in SQ1, and then he's also out in regular Q1 on pace, similar to what I just said with Lewis. Interesting.
Kimmy's washed.
Kimmy's washed. Or maybe Lewis is just an 18-year-old kid who's just getting started. He has a second wind.
Whoa.
What's interesting to me, though, is that Kimi Antonelli is in tears after both of these qualifying sessions. And I will say as a note that George was not doing too much better. I think that the car was just slow. Sure, he spinned in SQ1, but it's like rookie things to do. You know what I mean? You'll spin sometimes. It's okay. He didn't break the car. And then it's like, why is he crying? And part of me thinks like, what is the pressure that he's under? Like, what does he feel like he needs to cry? Like, are they making him genuinely feel like he's going to lose his seat? Or like, what's going on here? Because I thought he was like, he didn't cry when he fucking put the car into a wall in his first FP1 ever. Like, this man seemed like he really was just kind of like, I'm a child prodigy. I can kind of do whatever the fuck I want. And then now all of a sudden he's crying. I don't really understand what the change is.
Well, there was that rumor over break about him and Alpine. And maybe he's just been letting that fester so much that he's starting to picture, like, holy fuck, what if I have to go to Alpine if I don't do very well? And so every single
hate comments he's going to get from Argentinian fans.
Every time he gets in the car, he just goes, if I do bad, Toto's going to send me to Alpine. And it's just starting to weigh on him. He also might have just had a bad weekend. I don't know. Could be one of those. Could be the other.
Part of me thought maybe it's like he's just been under so much pressure since like for like literally the last like year and a half almost, that maybe this week he just like finally felt like it like really got to him. Like maybe these tears were just like a long time coming of like,
yeah,
just feeling like, holy shit, I'm 18 years old and I'm at a top team in F1. Everything's kind of like on my shoulders. I literally was signed to replace Lewis Hamilton. I don't know. I could see how that could just get to you. You know, like when you're like having a bad day and then like one little thing happens and it's like, great, now I'm fucking crying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that, Kimmy. Me too.
Yeah.
Maybe
too,
he's
Kimmy.
like soul tied to like Lewis Hamilton. He's like, Lewis is having a bad weekend. People are calling him washed. And like, he wasn't even upset about his own qualifying. He's just like, people are being so mean to my goat. Could be that.
Like, yeah. He's just like thinking about the world championship that Max took from Lewis. And he's like, Lewis could have been happily retired by now if it weren't for that fucking Max Verstappen.
He's looking out for his elders. He's an empath.
No, that's okay. That's good. I'm glad we cleared that up. So then we do regular qualifying. Hulkenberg just runs into Lance in the pit lane right at the beginning. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I was like, sure. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Why not?
Why not? Get out there, guys. And then Norris gets pole, Oscar gets second, and Leclerc gets third. Who cares? Alex Albon gets fifth in qualifying. I mean, that's
the
my
goat
go.
is back.
Yeah.
He's so good at driving that Williams.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting Carlos was out in Q1.
Yeah, because he came from Ferrari. Oh, but wait a minute. I guess that doesn't work with my original theory, because then he would have been really, really good at Ferrari. No, but he was good at Ferrari. Was he better than Charles?
At times. But don't bring that up on Twitter. It gets dicey.
Do you think I could bring it up on Threads safely? Be like, wait, Carlos was better than Charles, right? We all think that?
Hey, I'm going to tell you probably not if you enjoy not being doxxed. There is, I don't know. It's interesting because Carlos just had kind of a totally shit weekend. I don't really bring it up during the race notes because whatever, so I'll just bring it up now. But he and Max kind of did something interesting where they set their car up with like a lot of downforce specifically for if there was rain. You might remember in Silverstone that Red Bull did the opposite and they gave Max absolutely no downforce and then it rained. So he tried to like do the opposite this week, but then they ended up not actually running in the rain. They just like delayed the start until basically the track was dry. So then like they kind of were like fucked over in a way because it's like they ran this setup for the rain. And Carlos, I guess on the radio, he was like, my bad. I mean, I thought we were going to fucking run in the rain. And Williams was like, I mean, it's not really your bad. I mean, we also
I get why you
would
think that.
Yeah. Like we also thought that we have like wet tires and, you know.
But he did fine in the sprint.
Yeah, because he qualified. He qualified really well for the sprint. Yeah, I think he gets a couple. Not many. But I don't know. I guess like we can get to it now. What are your thoughts on them delaying the race start till basically the track was dry? I mean, they did like a recon lap behind the safety car. Obviously, it was very wet. But, like, Max was basically like, if we would have just ran a couple more laps behind the safety car, we would have made a pretty dry line. Yeah. Like, the rain had stopped. It wouldn't be a dry track, but you don't need it to be a dry track. They could have just, it would have benefited the people that had a rain setup plus, like, intermediate tires.
I don't quite understand their decision to do that, especially when Spa is, like, known for being a wet race. It's like, no, people are prepared for it to be a wet race. If the visibility is bad, just do, like, a couple more laps under the safety car. I didn't understand why we waited an hour and a half.
To literally dry the track.
But they didn't. But you can't dry the track that way.
With one fucking tractor with, like, a little leaf blower behind it.
Yeah, I was like, so what are we doing? Exactly.
Yeah, Max was like, just go out there, we'll fucking make a dry line. Like, that's how you dry the track.
Yeah, I mean, these cars are, frankly, like, not made to race in the rain, but they're capable of racing in the rain. That's why we have wet tires.
I've never seen them used. Can I say, like, I genuinely, like, I can't remember the last time I saw, like, wet tires used. I think maybe last season I saw them used, like, once.
They put Charles Leclerc on them when it was
dry.
It wasn't raining anymore. Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's the only time I've ever seen them used.
Yeah, like Canada last year, we accidentally saw the wet tires used.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand, especially, I mean, this is like known for being a wet race. People were like, oh, it's gonna rain. That's so exciting. And then they were like, no, we have to make sure McLaren wins. That's the conspiracy I'm starting.
Yeah.
They said we have to make sure.
Not even that. They were like, let's do a rolling start. They didn't even do a standing start. They did a rolling start. And literally, guess who was like, please, can we do a rolling start? Lando. It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh, why'd they have to play that radio? That's so embarrassing. He knew he was about to get his shit jumped. I felt like that was really. I don't even like fuck with Lando that much, but I was like, that's so embarrassing. They played that.
Dang, they did him dirty. I didn't even really. I missed the first couple laps because I told you I got locked out of my Twitter, so I don't have F1 notifications on anymore, which is why I also didn't know it was a sprint week. So I didn't know that we had started because I was just following the Alex Albon app that would give me notifications every once in a while, being like, we might get started soon. By the time I joined, we had already done By the time I joined, we were in finishing order, basically.
So your ability to watch F1 now is reliant on the Alex Albon app reminding you it's happening.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, before we started, sure, except for the fact you just admitted they didn't tell you when it started, so not great in my book. Before we got started, we did have two interesting storylines. The first being that Nicole Piastri, who is Oscar Piastri's mother and famously a big Yuki fan, was invited by Red Bull to come hang out in the Red Bull hospitality with Yuki and get like a signed 22 hat. And they posted that shit all over social media.
Yeah.
I've seen more pictures of her with Yuki than I have her son this weekend.
Her son that won the race hangs out with her son. I've only, I think, ever seen pictures of her and Yuki.
What is going on there? Do you think, like, if... Obviously, Oscar Piastri probably doesn't give a fuck. Would you care if your mom was a really big fan of an athlete on another team to the point where, like, they literally invited her to hospitality, like a fangirl?
I think if it was F1, I'd rather it be, like, another team. I'd be like, yeah, no, she just has her own thing, whatever. But if she was, like, a really big Lando fan, I'd be like, hey, yo, what the fuck?
she's like wearing, like, his, like, yellow blob shit.
She's in the Lando stand. It's like, Mom, I won.
Why are we in the Lando stand?
Mom.
She's like really closely following where you can buy the little fluorescent minion yellow monster.
Oh, yeah. She's been
can we make a little
posting on Twitter.
7-Eleven?
Can anyone send me a yellow monster? Mom.
I don't know. I think it's funny that she's also like a Yuki fan. Because I'm just like, is she just like us for real? Where she's like picking people that are like kind of, she's like, it's kind of boring how my son like wins a lot. I kind of root for underdogs a little bit more, you know?
I respect that.
I know she shed a tear when Logan Sargent left. She's the one making the
Losker
or the Logan Oscar edits. What's their
It's also name? Losker. It's also Losker.
Losker.
The other one is Land Oscar. There's Land Oscar, Water Oscar, Fire Oscar, Earth Oscar, and then the Avatar.
But yeah, she's honestly just like us for real. The other thing was during the rain delay, and you could maybe speak on this a little bit more because you watch Sky Sports. Fuck.
No, there was a rain delay, and I said, what if I watch Atlanta? So I watched Atlanta again while I was waiting for the race to start.
Are you serious?
I would never joke about that.
You're so annoying. You're supposed to get the tea. You're supposed to get the tea on Nico.
Could you imagine
backstory?
An hour and a half of Sky Sports right when you wake up in the morning with no race? Like, I can't even do my homework for this podcast. It's like I'm just listening to Sky Sports broadcast. I would die.
Yeah, but Nico was there, and I love Nico, but apparently he was, like, spilling, like, he was, like, kind of just somebody on the commentary team basically just straight up asked him, like, do you ever miss Lewis? And it just started, like, a crazy backstory lore drop for him, and apparently he was just, like, talking about how much they got along as kids, how they used to share at a hotel room and wrestle. I could smell the fucking fanfic writers from a bajillion miles away getting so much new material. And I do think it does come a point where I'm like, is this harassment? Like, why are you guys bringing up his ex on the broadcast like this? Like, could you imagine if they were like, weird. Danica, do you ever miss Ricky Stenhouse Jr.?
Yeah, yeah, I guess I don't really get the Bro Sadie's hype, like talking about it in current day. Like, if you want to reminisce on like the old times, that's great, but like I don't want current day Lewis or Nico's opinion on Bro Sadie's. It's frankly not for them anymore.
Yeah, it's out of their hands, you know what I mean? Like, we should be allowed to create whatever narrative we feel like at this point.
Yeah, that's
okay.
What is it called when something becomes, like, free use for the people? Oh, it's entered the public domain, Bro Sadie's.
Mercedes has entered the public domain. They
No one
no
can use it
longer have rights to it solely. And so,
Sorry.
yeah, no, we don't really care what your opinions are. Thanks, Phil, for sharing. They had a full picture, though, that they pulled up of, like, them, like, on a ski together, a jet ski together. And I was like, who gave you this photo?
Yeah, where did we get that?
Did Nico, like, submit this, or...
Probably. I feel anytime they like talk about Mercedes, I'm like, Nico wanted this to be brought up.
Yeah, I think he did. Okay. I do kind of want them to hug, though. Like, just once on TV.
No, I don't want it to be in front of cameras. I want it to be sentimental in between those two.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I'd like to think that because it doesn't... Okay, and we don't have to keep talking about Mercedes, but doesn't Lewis send, like, all of Nico's kids, like, birthday presents consistently and Christmas? Like, they're friends. Like, they're...
Apparently
I'm sure they hug.
Apparently they live, like, in the same building or something like that. And Nico said that their relationship is now neutral.
Well... I never want to hear that.
He basically said, I think that the thing is that Lewis sends Nico's kid stuff, but, like, doesn't talk to Nico. So it's, like, kind of like a weird power play.
That's weird because wasn't all of the Bro Sadie stuff mostly done by the time Nico had his kids?
Yeah. That's why it's, like, more of, like, a weird power play that he even sends shit to the kids at all.
That's funny. I love them. Congratulations. Congratulations on whatever you have going on.
Whatever this is, I love it. Speaking of Hamilton, he heard we were all talking shit, and he had a really great race today. He ended up getting driver of the day. He gained, like, hella spots. He was the first person to go into the pits and put on non-intermediate tires, and he started fucking cooking, and then everybody else was like, oh, I guess we're cooking on slick tires now. And he made some pretty gutsy passes, and I don't know, I feel like maybe that's what he's meant to do. You know what I mean? Like, he's not meant to lead from pole. If he's gonna win a championship with Ferrari, he's got to be ready to do whatever the fuck this is. If you think you're gonna fucking qualify well, you're wrong, buddy. If you want this last championship, you're gonna have to fucking fight for it. So get used to it, so that next year you're ready to go.
I like it. It's always fun to watch a driver who, like, comes from the back. It's always fun. Yeah. No one's ever like, oh, I hated the way he went from P19 to P7. No one's ever said that.
Nobody. Ever said that. Yeah, I think that's just how it's gonna have to be done, buddy. So get used to it. We had a rolling start, like I said. It didn't really matter, though, because Oscar, on, like, lap 4, basically full sent it around Lando. And I think that Lando had something with his battery or something like that. I don't know how bad... I'm going to be out... Hey, this is a vulnerable moment for me. I don't really fully understand what goes on with the batteries in, like, Formula One. I'm like, so is that, like, their push to pass or something? Like, what's happening here? I don't really understand. I don't really care to either because it, like, barely ever comes up. So I just am like, sure, they have batteries.
I feel like most of the battery issues we hear, though, are like, oh, no, the car's out. It was an issue with the battery.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, in my brain, like, when I have a flashlight, when the battery's not working, like, the flashlight's not working. You know?
I think that their batteries are kind of like how the IndyCar, like, hybrid can, like, regen, like, under braking and stuff like that.
Oh.
But, like, I'm like, what are you using the battery for? I don't know how F1 cars work. And I don't really feel like the battery seems to be something that comes up. It's kind of like fuel. I never hear about it because you guys have it all figured out. So, like, we just never talk about that. You never hear an F1 driver get a radio that's like, hey, we're going to run out of fuel.
Could you imagine if they're like, hey, this is going to be crazy. Like, just so you know, have you ever heard of Scott Dixon? Can you fuel safe?
They're calling up Liam Lawson and they're like, you ever learn anything from that guy? You ever talk to him or anything? Do you know any tricks?
Prepare to put on a fuel-saving masterclass, my guy. They're like, we actually just consulted the burn bar, and Lando's like, the fucking what? The burn bar? It says you're gonna run out of gas.
You start hearing that
Not
guy
gas,
who's like,
fuel.
the guy who's Dale Jr.'s crew chief, Steve Letarte, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
If I was on the pit box, this is where I would start calling him up and saying, you're gonna need to brake way sooner. Come off that ignition. Yeah. So you're gonna have to feel safe through turns 2 and 3.
God, you know what? As much as I would love to see like a driver swap between series, I truly think getting one of those crew chiefs in there for F1, I think it would do wonders for some of those drivers. Like, frankly, I mean, maybe Charles Leclerc needs Steve Letarte.
Dude, this weekend, he literally, again, was, like, yelling at his engineer, being like, stop. He literally took time out of, like, his race, where he was, like, apparently under so much stress with Max behind him, to be like, no, let me explain to you why I need you to shut the fuck up, okay? Because you're giving me too much information, and you're annoying me. But he would never do that to Steve.
No, Steve would give it back to him. It would be kind of fun. It'd be kind of joking.
All right, so what if you came in and we just changed your front tires? What do you think that would do for you? Yeah. I'm thinking we would keep the mediums on the back, but maybe put softs on the front. What do you think, Charles? All right, we'll see you down pit road. All right. That's great. That's all he needs. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be good.
Steve Letarte, congratulations. I know this week was the last TNT broadcast. You have a promotion. I hope you love Maranello, Italy.
Get ready to learn Italian.
Woo! Okay, well, we just solved Ferrari's problems. So Hamilton switches to slicks first. They clearly work. The track is dry at this point. And he is followed by Oscar and Charles, and then Lando and Max. Now, it's important to note that because Oscar was in the lead, he got the favorable pit strategy, I would say, in a way. But hold on. They put mediums on Oscar. Last minute, Lando's gets a call from his engineer, and he goes, what if we put hards on you and you make it till the end? What do you think? Everybody is kind of mad at this. A lot of Oscar fans and stuff are like, of course Lando gets the favorable strategy. To that I will say, like, let's be sensible here. He got the call in second. At this point, I think that Lando and Oscar, their strategy teams are not talking to each other. Like, this is not a McLaren strategy. This is a Lando strategy. His engineer made the call because he's competing against Oscar's engineer. So for people to say, like, oh, this is a McLaren conspiracy to give Lando the hards and the favorable strategy, I don't think that McLaren is making these sorts of calls anymore on their strategy. I think at this point it is team versus team within the garage. I don't know. I mean, do you think I'm wrong? Like, I think at this point it's like, I don't think that Lando's engineer gives a fuck what Oscar's engineer is doing.
They see, you do get the benefit of, like, seeing what Oscar does, so they know that Oscar's going out on the mediums.
On mediums. So he's going to make a call to directly beat that.
I think the bigger issue that Oscar fans should be getting mad about is the fact that his engineer comes on and then, like, essentially is just like, well, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to come back and pit for hards or like, they threw it onto him, and the Sky Sports broadcast, thank God, like, I'm so happy that some of these issues happened, because they were just talking about nothing, like, truly bless their hearts, nothing was going on, so they were just kind of, like, meandering around conversation, but they were like, well, I didn't like that, like, why the fuck are you asking him? Like, you guys are the ones with the information, don't ask him if he wants to. This is, like, an issue that I feel like comes up, it hasn't come up recently, but I'm always like, why are you frankly have to do it. He's not Alex Palou. Like, he can't call his own pit strategy. Like, you gotta do something.
Yeah, I don't really understand the thought process between, like, I don't understand asking Oscar what he wants if, like you mentioned, they could probably have a good idea of what Lando's up to as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, you actually have not only all the information on Oscar's car, you also have all the information on the car he's competing with. So in what world should Oscar make the call?
Most of the other cars on the field, and it wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was a, well, we think you should do this. Do you feel like you can make it on these tires? It was more like a, well, I don't know. I mean, what do you want to do? Which I'm like, hey, your job is like a professional decision maker, which is that's probably one of my nightmare jobs.
Job ever.
But you signed up for it. You get cut the check for it. It's like, come on, bro. So Oscar fans, if you're interested in getting mad about something, I recommend that over anything else.
Because they ended up putting Lando on the hards, saying he was going to go till the end. But then Lando gets a call on lap 17 out of like 50 something. And it was like, hey, Oscar's actually going to probably be able to make it to the end on the mediums. So tire deg's a lie. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Not real.
I was like, how is he going to make it literally like 40 laps on these tires? They're mediums. They're not supposed to be able to do that. I was like, okay. I mean, he was probably having to go a little bit slower, I guess, to try to save his tires, but it's like, not really. This is the race, nothing else happens. He ends up finishing like quite a bit ahead of Lando by like, at a certain point, I think he was like 4 or 5 seconds ahead of Lando. And then like Lando tried to make it up. He had a slow pit stop, had a problem getting his tire on, and then he ended up making a couple mistakes, like locking up and stuff on a turn, just putting himself farther behind Oscar. And then that was the race. And I was just like, are you allowed? Is that supposed to be able to happen? And I remembered last year, George made it on a one stop on Spa. But it ended up being like, he actually didn't, because he got disqualified because he didn't have enough weight on his car anymore. So it was like, I thought, oh, okay, so we can't do a one-stop in Spa. But it's like, actually, you can. Now, part of me is like, okay, maybe it's because it's like the track was a bit cooler because of the rain. And then, like, the McLaren has been good all year at saving tires comparatively to the other cars. Which is why everybody thought they had that fucking tire water thing or whatever. They were like, they're clearly doing something. But I'm still like, okay, so does Spa just suck now? Is that what's happening? And you texted me and you were like, I think Spa sucks.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said. That is not what I said. I said these fuck-ass cars are making Spa look like dog shit. And I stand by that.
It's not Spa's fault. It's F1's fault.
No. It's F1's fault. Because you see like other series go there and it's like, yeah, no, it looks like a really fun place to race. And then it's like these regulations or this political climate or I don't know what it is, but it's just not producing a good race at Spa weekend. And then we wait an hour and a half for the tractor to dry the track. And it's like, yeah, but this is
one tractor.
What, dude, okay, one of our mutuals posted on Threads, like, and he's a very knowledgeable guy about, like, all motorsports, and he posted something about, it just baffles me that they don't have any kind of technology to dry the tracks like NASCAR does. And all of the F1 fans who came into the comments were like, well, now how would that possibly dry the track while it's raining? Sorry, wait, what do you think happens? You think they go out during the rain and you've just got like 6 Chevy Silverados with dryers on the back and you think that they do that during the rain? Anyways.
They don't know how to. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even telling you to dry the track. I'm saying let them go out there on a wet track. But you guys are the ones who decided we apparently have to fucking dry the track. So now I'm like, okay, what are you going to bring out to dry the track? And they have one fucking tractor. And I was like, so that's not going to do it. So if you are insistent on us drying the track, you're going to have to get some fucking
technology,
Chevy Silverados out there with the fucking jet dryers on the back. Like, you're the one who brought it up. You were the one who insisted on drying the track.
Some of the things that really baffle me about F1 is sometimes they'll be like, look at this cool technology we just got. And it's just like, that's something they do in NASCAR. Like, the cool suits, I was like, you didn't have those? I assumed you, of all people, would have those. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I just thought it was funny.
Next, they're going to be like, we've thought of this interesting thing called an aero screen.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? It's like, have
you guys ever heard of an attenuator? We're going to pop some of those bitches on our F1 cars and see if they go fast. We heard this Joseph Newgarden guy won an Indy 500 with a blended attenuator.
Yeah, they're going to be like, fucking put one of those on the back. Let's see it.
Pop one on. I wonder if maybe they do have attenuators, because, like, I feel like hitting, well, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, if they do, I'm sure they have a different name for it to make it seem like completely their own and super original.
Attenuator. It's French.
Attenuator.
Silvio attenuator was blended. Sucker blue. I love F1.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't know. I think like lately the Europeans have been treading on thin ice with me, okay?
Just like all of the Europeans.
Okay, first they want to like be weird about fucking drying the track. Again, I didn't tell you to dry the track. I said let them go out there while it's wet. You're the one who brought up drying the track. Fuck you. Second of all, I saw this tweet today and it was like the European or like the American mind couldn't comprehend this. And it's just fries being dipped in mayo. And I was like, listen, I studied abroad in Belgium and I'll fucking tell you, it's because it's ass. Like, have you guys ever tried ranch? Have you guys ever had some Frank's mayo? Red Hot?
But it's like, but it's not like, is it like our mayo? Like our Miracle Whip? Oh.
It's like, yeah, I used to go to like fry shops all the time in Belgium because it's like a Belgian food. And yeah, you can't call it French fries. It's very dicey if you do that. Apparently,
what do you call them? Chips?
No, they could just call them fries or frites.
What do we call them?
So we call them French fries because apparently the lore is that American met a Belgian person who introduced them to fries, and then he went back and was like, I met this French guy who showed me what these fries are.
But isn't like French a cooking technique? Like to French something?
I thought
that's what it was.
But like apparently it's like
you gotta get Val.
Fries are a Belgian invention that we have misattributed to the French, and they don't like that. And then also they dip it in mayo. And they have like different flavors of mayo. Like there's like a curry mayo and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but I just like I'm not really interested.
We have different flavors of mayo. That's what Justin Allgaier's car was.
A spicy mayo. That's true.
We are. But and to be fair to anyone in Belgium, I would also be pissed if they took something from me and was like, isn't this really cool and also French?
Yeah, I think it's just like it's a mistake because like they speak French, so I could see how like there was a confusion there.
Sorry guys, that's our bad. Sorry about that. Me just trying to reconcile. Sorry. We won't call them that anymore.
Yeah, just frites. You know what I mean?
Just
not
frites.
French
just
frites.
feets. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Stop bringing up feet all the time, MJ. I know you have a weird thing for them.
Girl, do not start with me.
Thinking about the SVG foot cam. My other beef that I have with Europeans that kind of leads us into our next segment, unless you have anything else to say on F1.
No, I'm excited to ride this train wherever it's going.
So there was a post on Twitter this week by Chip Ganassi, and it was of like the famous pass on the corkscrew where just fuck it, you know, send it over the hill. Just, you know what I mean? Like go for it.
This is what my fun fact is about.
Oh, do you want to give your fun fact first then?
No, I want to hear you shit on it, and then I'll give my fun fact and see if we can wrap it back around.
So Chip Ganassi just tweeted this out, probably like thinking nothing of it. And then somehow it got on F1 Twitter, and all these F1 fans were like quote tweeting it and like responding to it. That's like, this is why IndyCar sucks. Like you don't even have track limits. Like you can just fucking send it, and like it's not even a pass if it's like outside of the line. Like what is this sport? Like they were like kind of taking it like really far. And Chip Ganassi was like, hey, I don't know who the fuck you guys are or where you came from, but like get out of my Twitter replies. And IndyCar Twitter was pretty pissed about this. I don't know.
It was from 1996. Like, to be the pass, the infamous pass was Alex Zanardi on Brian Herta, for those of you who, I don't know, maybe don't tune into F1, because I feel like they played it a lot this week. Or not F1, IndyCar. And he basically, he cuts the corkscrew, is what he does, for the lead. Alex Zanardi does, and beats Brian Herta. And he's a rookie. And if you ever want to dive down like a fun little rabbit hole, you should just look up Alex Zanardi. But my fun fact is this guy, Alex Zanardi, brace yourselves. It's going to be really, really fun. Prepare to get excited. But it's like motorsport related this week. I made sure because I feel like I was losing some people with my other fun facts. He popularized doing the donuts after the win. Isn't that crazy?
My favorite fucking person.
Because he won 1 year. Okay, now I'm going off script because I didn't write this down. But he won 1 championship and did the donuts. It was like totally on accident. He's like, I don't know, I was just really excited and I just like spun the car a little bit. And he's like, but don't worry, guys, I'll do them better next year. And then he won another championship and did the donuts. And that's kind of how that became popularized. But anyways, I think it's crazy that people were, even when I was like researching the past or whatever, people in the comments were just like, you could never do that today. I was like, you know what? That's actually a really good point. What I wanted to bring up is that Alex Palou would have never dominated the way he does in IndyCar today if the championship were taking place in 1922.
Why?
And, well, because IndyCar didn't exist back then.
Oh.
You know? So, like, if we're really going to be playing with the fabrics of reality, it's like, let's just take it there, you know? But I think
you're right. I think it's like people that are like, well, it's not a pass because, like, I don't care what the rules were back then. Like, he cut the corner, whatever. It's like, what would you say about riding the wall at Martinsville? You know what I mean? It's like until the rule exists, it's sick as hell.
Yeah,
sorry.
It wasn't a rule back then. He probably wouldn't have done it if he knew he weren't allowed to, frankly.
But that was on them for not thinking of that. He did.
And it was sick as hell. And it changed the rules going forward. But it's like we have this sick-ass moment. I don't know. People they just want to complain about things. They can't let us have anything fun, can they?
I genuinely put it in the same category as, like, Ross Chastain doing the Hail Melon at Martinsville. It's like, at the time, the rule didn't exist. So it's sick as hell. Second of all, it's also a big risk. I mean, like, his car could have absolutely eaten shit on that elevation drop. And, like, he could have, like, lost his whole front wing. You know what I mean? But, like, he didn't. So it's sick as hell. Just like Ross Chastain, like, he literally destroyed his car in the process of riding the wall. I think it's, like, those are, like, I think it's cool when you do something so crazy they have to write the rule after that.
Yeah. And it was gonna happen eventually. If it weren't him, maybe it would have been fucking Colton Herta this year.
Christian Lundgaard last year.
Christian Lundgaard. They do it in Indy Next quite frequently. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I thought it was sick as hell. Shout out to Alex Zanardi and not shout out to F1 Twitter.
It's also worth mentioning that it's like a pretty blind drop.
Oh.
So, like, it could have, like, you can do it 100% on accident, too, because it's like, you watch, like, their onboard, it's like, they kind of have an idea, obviously, of, like, the direction the corkscrew's going and where they're starting it from, like, how far they need to kind of, you know, but, like, you could very easily do it on accident.
Yeah.
So, maybe we can just assume it was a happy accident if you want to be a dick about it. He didn't mean to.
No. They just don't want any... But, like, it's cool to be like... It was his last shot, and he just decided, what if I fucking fly off this hill right now? Like, that's sick. It's like, why don't you want to be happy about something silly and goofy in motorsports? Like, why are you afraid to love, you know?
No, it's so true. F1 fans are like, you know what, I like my motorsports where there's one pass on track worth watching and then the rest is just the same from then on out. That's how I like it.
Maybe it's like the like, you know, the anxious, like, rewatching the same movie over and over because it's like, I know what's gonna happen. Maybe that they're just like, F1's a little bit more safe, you know, I don't have to worry about someone flying off a corkscrew or riding the wall. Like, I know what's gonna happen is the race is gonna start, the F1 Sky Sports commentators are gonna argue, and then one of the 3 people that wins is gonna win.
Yeah.
It's just safe. I respect that.
Yeah, I don't know. I also, you know, as the on-track commentators of Iowa Speedway would say, it's the Super Bowl of IndyCar. Anything could happen.
You know what? Kind of is.
Bowl of IndyCar. Well, let's talk a little bit about IndyCar. So first of all, the week started with a pretty tasty rumor from Nathan Brown on Twitter that Zach Brown was doing a rookie test for the McLaren Indy 500 open car that they run.
He said he was going to. It was Zach Brown's rumor that Nathan just reported on, but he was like, yeah, I mean, I'm bringing in someone to do the rookie test, probably, but if it does happen, it's going to be massive and mega and huge and probably the biggest thing that's ever happened. And so, of course, us, being jobless, we started speculating.
Well, I
do you have any speculating?
I have a job. I just do Indy 500 speculation on the job.
That's true. Do it on the clock.
Yeah. It's like kind of like, do whatever you can on the clock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Including speculate about who's going to do the Indy 500. So, how reasonable should I be in my answer?
You can give a range if you'd like.
Okay. I think, if I'm thinking, because he also, dude, I hate to be a fangirl. I did watch the David Land interview with Zach Brown, and he did also say he's not going to do another car unless it's somebody worth doing it for. He was like, the Kyle Larson one was the Kyle Larson one. It's not going to be just anybody. So with that in mind, I think Daniel Ricciardo is an interesting one. We've talked about before, Daniel Ricciardo was pretty young when he left F1. He clearly wants to... you can't be retired forever. I can imagine he would like to do something else to stay relevant. He's a celebrity now. He would sell hella merch. He's close with Zach Brown, even though he did leave McLaren. He has a love for American motorsports. I would say he would be like an OEP at Daytona, but I almost would say the Indy 500 would be something he'd be more comfortable with, probably, comparatively to a stock car. It's like the Indy 500 would probably make more sense for him. So I think the Daniel Ricciardo one's interesting. I'm also delusional. And this is like an answer that I know is probably not what's going to happen. But I was interested in like the conversation about it being Connor Zilisch. I think it would be a lot if he's going to be a cup driver next year for him to be a rookie cup driver and to just like, oh yeah, why not do the double? So that's why I know it's not possible probably this year. But I hope Zach Brown keeps it in mind. He's a Chevy driver, so he could definitely do it without it being an issue. Like engine manufacturer wise, like, you know, obviously like Christopher Bell, for example, said he can't do it because Toyota says no, whatever. And I think that he is a talent that IndyCar, why is he not an IndyCar driver? It pisses me off all the time. So I don't know. That one's my delusional answer. So that's who I'm kind of sitting with. What about you?
Obviously, this is my delusional and my real answer. I was trying to think of people, because like people were like Sebastian Vettel, and I was like, no, Sebastian is so tied to Red Bull that I don't think he would ever be able to kind of like cross those lines. The Daniel Ricciardo one I thought was compelling. I would love to see him OEP at Daytona though. Could you imagine him and Elio just like hanging out and maybe some Wendy's like
Daniel Ricciardo
overall.
Would definitely fucking crash the car, but he'd have fun in some Wendy's.
He'd have so much fun, just like Elio. But then I truly think, I was like, who has ties to IndyCar and also McLaren and also F1 and also, I don't know, WEC? Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah. This is
I was
the
like,
one
they're
that
gonna bring him
MJ's
back.
Really stuck on.
Because I truly, truly think he's got the freak to be able to go and just be like, I'm going to do one IndyCar race and it's actually going to be the Indy 500. I think he has the capacity to do it, and I don't think he would like downshift when he's not supposed to and cause like a Kyle Larson wreck. I don't think he's afraid of crashing like Kyle Larson is. I think he's worth it. And I think that would be mega.
Yeah, I think he's done a full year now as like a WEC driver. I think that he's probably a bit bored. You know what I mean? Like he never really seemed, I don't know. I feel like it's like he's got to be bored. He's too crazy for that. You know, like I think that F1 was holding back his crazy.
I mean, he is in a BMW.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, it's still not enough. You know what I mean? Like, he needs more adrenaline, more crazy, more chaos, more. He thrives off of it. I think the Indy 500 is the only thing that could satiate the urge he has to do something wild. It'll be him. He's in like that. It'd be like him, Takuma Sato, Robert Schwartzman. Like, they just got like a little crazy in their eyes. I feel like I want to see them on qualifying day. I want to be there in the stands watching Kevin Magnussen send it on qualifying day.
Yeah,
It's what I think badly.
I think it would be good. I also just kind of want Kevin Magnussen to just run some of the IndyCar races, but that's maybe a pipe dream for later down the road when they start putting open cars. Unless he's the open car for Portland.
Is that still a rumor?
Yeah.
Isn't Portland the next race?
Yeah.
When are we going to hear about whoever the fuck that is?
Not until last minute. It's IndyCar. IndyCar's very Dale Coyne vibes, where it's like, they'll be qualifying and they'll be like, just so you know.
Do we know what team is submitting this, like, open car?
I believe the rumor was Andretti. But I guess maybe the open car is just getting rid of Marcus Ericsson and the car is open now?
By open, we mean somebody's getting fired.
By open, we mean unemployed. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I would love any of our guesses. Would be great. I just feel like it's not going to go our way. I feel like me and Zach Brown have different definitions of mega.
It's going to be someone so stupid. What if it's Lando? What if it's literally Lando?
He doesn't have it in him.
I think he does. I think he has just like desperation. And I think he has a little bit of a wavering confidence. And I think that if you put those together with just like no knowledge about the Indy 500, you know what you'll get? Robert Schwartzman.
I couldn't disagree more. I think he would take one look at IMS and he'd be like, yeah, I'm good.
It's all he's got now.
No worries.
After if he loses the championship this year, it's like, yeah, fuck it, dude. Maybe I do just go run. Maybe I run Daytona and then I do the Indy 500. Like, what do I have to lose? It's his midlife crisis. No, Daniel's lost everything he could lose.
Maybe Lando's on the way.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, Fro had a cool livery. You asked, how does it rank amongst the others, which made me think that you've already given a thought to this. So I don't know if you want to take it away.
They're all so good. Part of me wonders if when the paddock hears that Fro is bringing a livery, if they're like, fuck, do we even show up this weekend? Yeah. Like, what's the purpose? He had the Creed livery this year. He had the Ozzy Osbourne livery, which was crazy timing. And then he had Grateful Dead this weekend. And the fucking tie-dye, dude, on a race car.
Can I be honest? I was like, why are we running this in Laguna Seca? This should have been the 500 car.
Dude, and you know what's even worse is they're going to run it in Portland, too. Although I think Portland is probably more fitting than Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
But I was like, we have to get this car on an oval. Imagine just like, that's a trip. That's what that is. Yeah. It's just a tie-dye going around in circles at 200 miles per hour. That's a trip.
It's a good time.
But
I don't know. I'm torn because I feel like the Creed one was so good for the 500 because it's so American. Yeah. But, like, it didn't look like the coolest livery.
It was just orange. It looked like the Root Insurance.
Yeah. This is like a car that maybe deserved better than Laguna Seca in Portland. It's like a car that I want a die-cast of.
Yeah, it's really good. I really also enjoyed the Ozzy Osbourne livery, but I love purple. Yeah. Love purple.
I wish it was more purple, to be honest. That was my one critique of the Ozzy one.
More purple? Because it was purple and black, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's so interesting. So last year, I've been like rewatching some races from last year while we do like our 4 laps videos. And he had the like same deal last year, but it was like to promote country stations. And geez, did none of those fucking hit this hard. Like they did like
No.
the different country stations, like the Eric Church country station and stuff like that. And it was just like, okay.
Yeah, for the most part, they would just have like normal liveries with just like a logo on the side of them.
Yeah.
They weren't like wrapping them in tie-dye or anything cool like that.
So again, I think we've said this before on the podcast. Last year was country. This year it's like rock. Next year it's pop princess hour. Okay, I want to see like a fucking Sabrina Carpenter car. I want to see a fucking Lady Gaga car. Fuck it, throw a Taylor Swift one out. Maybe people will watch IndyCar.
They've already done Taylor
That's what I'm
Swift.
trying to see.
They could do Benson Boone. This is the Moonbeam car.
Moonbeam ice cream.
I think that could be really. I think it could be really good for the sport.
Wait, have you heard that new song that everybody's shitting on? So everybody was shitting on the Moonbeam Ice Cream song, and you were like, kind of like, can we stop being mean to Benson Boone? But I think that this is a song that you'd get down with shitting on. Have you seen them shitting on that? Might get a little slap, but he wouldn't hit me on Snapchat.
Oh, the 1965 thing. But she's doing that. It's like a rage baity thing. It's the same thing that JoJo Siwa did, where it's like we're talking about her. I'm like, just don't look at her, guys. She's being weird. Let her be weird by herself.
Yeah, they're like, this is so bad for people to be listening to. I'm like, I would have never heard this if you hadn't put it on my TikTok feed.
God.
Who is this girl? And I was like, yeah, it's 10 out of 10 rage bait.
Because people's issue with, like, Benson Boone is, like, he wears denim jumpsuits and backflips and he kind of sounds bad. And hers is like, hey, she's actually taken women back many years in the history. She's fully, like, being like, let me give up my rights to do whatever. It's like, yeah, well, maybe we could have been a little bit nicer to Benson Boone. I don't know.
I think Benson Boone did minimal damage in comparison to this.
I was gonna say, heaven forbid a boy has a little bit of fun and a mustache, okay?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, Benson Boone. And I did eat the Moonbeam ice cream crumble cookie, and I didn't think it was bad. I don't know what it was supposed to taste like, but
we're coming out
bad.
as we are pro Joseph Newgarden and also pro Benson Boone. That's firm
Honestly,
stances of this podcast.
Whenever you guys hate on something, it makes me really like it. So just chill. You know what I mean? And maybe I wouldn't have so many opinions that you don't like.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So we had some practice for IndyCar. You know what? You run the IndyCar. Why am I running the IndyCar shit? You run the IndyCar shit.
I like it when you run the IndyCar stuff. I didn't watch practice one because I was at work. All I know is that Devlin spun. Is that on mine? No, never mind.
That was my husband's alarm going off in the other room. No worries. It's not like
worries.
I'm filming a podcast here or something.
But Devlin spun, and then we also had Jacob Abel went off. I think he had minimal damage though.
Yeah.
Rossi also went off. He went off
Not minimal.
hard. Apparently he was also complaining of like some hand issues after it because he went off so hard. They were able to get the vehicle back together for practice 2. Didn't happen.
Like his hand hurt?
Yes.
Like the one that he broke?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Okay.
I also can't tell left from right, so I wouldn't be the person to ask anyways. Practice 2 was postponed due to fog, which was really an interesting issue we had throughout the entire weekend because the medical helicopters were grounded. They weren't allowed to come out and play. And you can't have cars on track if there is no medical helicopter, obviously for safety reasons, which we completely threw out the window when it comes in regards to cautions, but definitely glad we had the medical helicopter for when we decided to hold the yellow flags for so long.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then qualifying. What if
I don't know. I mean, what? You don't like my notes?
It's just a list of all the people who made it to the top 12.
I mean, what do you want?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, there's some interesting stuff in here. Like, we have 2 of the 3 Penske's.
Yep, and 2 of the 3 Rahal, Letterman, and Lanigans because they're really good at qualifying, as they've told us. Obviously, they didn't make it to the Firestone Fast 6 because they're good, but not that good.
Exactly. We have Pillow, but no Kiffin Simpson, and no Scott Dixon.
No.
Rip. I don't know.
That's kind of been a theme. Kind of been a theme for Scott Dixon this year. Is like every single weekend we're like, oh, he's out in round 1. What's up with that?
Okay. I have a question for you then.
Okay.
We have a selection now across many motorsports of drivers who stay in motorsports long after when people used to retire. And it seems like the first thing to go is qualifying speed. Do you think that that's what is happening with Scott Dixon?
I don't think you can make that comparison with IndyCar.
Alonso, Hamilton.
Right. F1
Denny
drivers.
Hamlin getting his ass whooped by Chase Briscoe every weekend.
Well, Denny Hamlin got his ass whooped by the wall this weekend.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of old people. I'm trying to think of what other old people do you guys know? Do you guys know other old people?
Name the old people in the chat.
I'm just kidding.
But then the old
Just
people,
kidding, Willpower's here.
well, Power made it to the Fast 6. So it's like...
Yeah, Willpower refuses to be old.
He's
like, you
young
cannot
and youthful.
age.
You know what's funny? No. I actually am using his book for my stand right now, and so every time I look down at my microphone, I just see his eyes piercing up at me, and it's quite startling. I think the qualifying is the first thing to go doesn't really work across motorsports. I think it works a lot in F1 because, I don't know, I actually don't know why it works a lot in F1, but I feel like every weekend can be just like a crapshoot during qualifying for some of these drivers. Obviously not RLL because they are good at qualifying every weekend is what they've told us.
Many a times.
Many a times they said, never mind, whatever.
I do think it's interesting. So like some of the people that were out in the first round, like Marcus Ericsson and Scotty Mack, whose teammates were in, they said, well, we didn't get a fucking practice. Do you think a practice would have made a difference?
I think it sure could have for some of the cars that had issues, but it's like it's not going to make a difference for the cars that were fine without a practice.
I know. Yeah, it was like kind of like likely thing for you to say when you're out in the first round of qualifying.
They obviously wouldn't be saying it. You're not going to hear that from anybody in the top 12, so it's hard to know. But I always think it's crazy when motorsports, like specifically NASCAR, they're like, yeah, no, it's really hard to like learn anything about the Cup Series because we just don't ever practice. Like Catherine Legge, they're like, it would be sick if we could practice with her in the car. And they're like, yeah, we just don't actually do that.
That would be sick. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy if they could have a go at it.
Yeah, no, that's too soft for us. We just send it into the wall in qualifying. Whatever, what have you. Alex Palou is on pole. We have Pato in P2, which was kind of surprising. And then Colton in P3, which was not surprising because Colton is pretty good at this track. But I feel like Pato has said multiple times that these era McLarens just aren't having a great day on road courses. But then I don't know why we get that. And then we see him doing really well. Nolan Siegel led laps. We see Christian Lundgaard doing really well. So I don't know if it's just kind of like we don't expect to do well. Like we didn't think about it when we were making this car. Like,
He especially has said too that he's been doing really poorly in qualifying this year. I don't know. Like part of me was just like maybe the storyline got him going of him being like an underdog in this championship battle. He was kind of like maybe pushing in qualifying with that in mind. I don't know. I mean, like, I do think that Pato, he kind of seemed like in his post-qualifying interview that he's somebody that could be motivated by a story like that. He's like, I like chasing him down. I like being the second place in the championship, trying to chase him down. I don't know what the math is looking like now, but at the time it was fun to think that was a thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think the math is in his favor, but I do agree that he does seem like somebody who that kind of like close competition like lights a fire under his ass because he's completely changed his tune from when we were in Detroit. And he was like, fuck Detroit, fuck you guys, fuck these little cars. But it's cool to see. I liked the idea of a battle when it was
Yeah, it was fun
happening
for 24 hours.
for like that 1 week where we're like, well, it's gonna be a big weekend for the championship. That obviously didn't come to fruition, but we have our race start, and immediately we see people going off. What?
Everything happens on lap one. Lap one is great.
And the thing about Laguna Seca is there's a lot of like gravel and dust, so you just see like a cloud of smoke, and the broadcasters are like, is that and
anyone.
they just start throwing out names. They're like, could that possibly be? And they're like, we don't even know, we'll come back to it. But the first incident that happens is between Connor Daly and Aprema.
I think it was Robert Schwartzman.
Robert Schwartzman.
Yeah.
And what it kind of seemed like is Connor Daly just kind of moved without knowing that Robert Schwartzman was there, and they just kind of collided a little bit. It wasn't a hard hit or anything, but it launched Robert Schwartzman, and it also launched Connor Daly himself. And I think he was avoiding.
I think it was avoiding action. I think that Rossi was kind of in the mix, and Connor Daly was trying to avoid contact with Rossi, and maybe didn't know, maybe his, like, I don't know what the spotter situation is like at Laguna Seca. I don't think he had any fucking clue that Robert Schwartzman was right there.
Yeah, it was just like a racing incident.
It was a start, you know what I mean? It was like, yeah.
Boy, was it. Am I right, ladies? Yeah. And then we also had, in the same time, Felix and Kiffin, just like a few turns away, have just like one of the worst crashes I've seen at like a start of the race in recent history. Yeah. And I think it was because
Kiffin was a goner.
Well, yeah, no, he was set straight into the wall, kind of got like sideways on the concrete on the wall. It kind of looked like, and I don't know if, I haven't heard anything from Scotty Mack yet, but it kind of seemed like Scotty Mack kind of moved into Kiffin, sent him into the wall, and then unfortunately Kiffin collected the Grateful Dead car, which I'm so sick and tired of Fro being so good and then just never getting his chance to shine.
Yeah.
It's becoming ridiculous. In between the crashes, we also had Colton overtaking Pato for P2. It was a pretty easy overtake.
Yeah. I think that Colton... So Pato and Palou, I think, started on the same tire. And I think Colton was on a different tire.
Yeah. Mark. So Alex was on new reds. Oh, wait. This is really interesting, I wrote down. I said Alex P1 is on new reds and Palou P2 is on used. So I think I meant Pato P2 is on
that
used.
Could mean anything.
And then Herta was on hearts because, like,
Yeah.
This is the same conversation when we rewatched Laguna Seca, that it was just like, I think it's going to be a red race, but I see a lot of people on black tires. It's hard to know. Maybe it's not going to be a red race. Maybe there's not going to be a preferable tire. It was very clearly a red race. I don't know why we spun that conversation.
It's good for us to pretend like there's a way that Alex Palou could somehow lose on strategy. I think that's what that conversation usually is. We're like, well, he is on what could be the most favorable tire or not. And it's like, no, I think he's good. I think he's probably on the favorable tire. I think that Chip Ganassi probably knows what's up. I think they probably put him on a good tire.
It's just a last-ditch effort.
For us to pretend.
Yeah, dude. And I think all of our best hopes for taking him out were just, like, there was a time where we were cheering on Christian Lundgaard. We were like, maybe he'll do it. But he was struggling in the middle of the field with a battle with David Malukas. Lundgaard ended up passing, but then David, I don't know if it's, this is going to be like kind of slanderous hours, but I don't mean it in a bad way. But it seemed like every time David was on the screen today, it's like, okay, he's attempting this like sick pass, or he's in like this battle where something could happen for him. But then he would always like leave a gap for someone like 2 cars behind to come through in every single one of his battles.
He's not very, how do I say this? I don't think I have the confidence needed when David Malukas is trying to go side by side with somebody to think that A, he's going to get the pass done, and B, he's not leaving the door open for somebody directly behind him.
That's the leaving the door open thing is very much, and I don't really have this lack of confidence in him on ovals. I think it's mostly just road courses.
Yeah.
But the leaving the door open thing, I noticed that happened quite a few times today, and I was like, maybe he's just not feeling super comfortable in the car, or maybe he's, I don't know, racing with the desperation that he maybe didn't have before the weekend. I don't know.
I think it's like maybe like on ovals, he has a better idea of like how he's going to get a pass done. Whereas like on a road course, it's like every turn you kind of need to be thinking about what the turn ahead of you is going to be. And I think that there's times where it's like he's like on the inside line when maybe he shouldn't be. Or like it's like maybe this turn isn't the one you get the pass done because then the very next turn the person behind you is going to overtake you. I don't know if he has that kind of, like, skill yet on a road course.
And it might truly just be... I just think it was very, like, focused on here, so maybe it's just, like, Laguna Seca ain't strong for him.
Yeah, maybe it's just Laguna Seca.
Boy, was that kid caught on camera multiple times leaving the door open.
And he also, when he goes wheel to wheel, I've noticed a lot today... Was that maybe contact or, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of the times I think it's like he gets a little too elbows out and it's like your car is not indestructible, buddy.
Hey, there's only one way to find out where its limit is, though.
I know. He can't really get it done either without kind of like taking out the front wing or something. You know what I mean? It's like, people are gonna get really tired of that. Maybe
this was just like a weird race for him because I feel like I haven't clocked that before, but today there were like 3 or 4 times where I was like, hey bro, there's someone behind. And maybe it was who he was racing. He was racing Christian Lundgaard, who is also known to do exactly all those same things.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. I feel like David, Christian, and Christian all kind of like they're in the same Venn diagram in some capacity where I'm like, you all are very aggressive drivers.
Yeah.
And sometimes leave the door open. Maybe Christian Rasmussen, not
so
as
maybe
much, because he'll just take him out.
If you're going to go wheel to wheel with Christian Lundgaard, I would make sure you didn't have Christian Rasmussen directly behind you.
Right behind you. That's exactly what happened, is he was going wheel to wheel with Christian Lundgaard. Christian Lundgaard gets the spot, I think it was for P7. And
Rahal
then
was weirdly in there too.
Rahal was right behind right behind Malukas trying to, use that door that was a little bit left open. It was shut, but as he was fighting to close this door for Graham Rahal, he opened a door for Christian Rasmussen. It was just a really strange turn of events, but
David was really in the middle of it, and it didn't work out well for him.
Fighting for his life. He did keep Graham Rahal behind him, but that doesn't mean much because Graham Rahal is really good at qualifying, so nothing to do with the race. Jacob Abel, bless his heart, crashes on lap 11. This was a brake issue, and it braked my heart to see it.
Got him. Yeah, it was like at first I was like, hey, why didn't Jacob Abel even try to turn at that corner? Does anybody know? He literally at a corner just straight off into the tire barrier. It doesn't even look like he's getting anything close to a turn.
No brakes.
And I was like, did he forget the turn was there? And then they were slow-mo analysis, kind of it seems like he has no brakes.
No brakes, no rear brake. That sucks, dude. Especially
you need brakes.
Just coming off of some good races, I don't know. It's starting to hurt my feelings, this Dale Coyne second seat. And we didn't mention earlier, but Rinus VeeKay was up 5 positions in the first lap, and I think that should not go unnoticed.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out obviously Jacob Abel is a rookie, so some of these mistakes are rookie mistakes. Some of them have just been didn't give the kid breaks. Gotta have those. Whatever. It's is he even getting a fair shot? Is Dale Coyne just gonna kick him to the curb after this year, despite half of these fucking mistakes not even being his fault?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Huh?
You had a little knowing look behind your eyes where you're I can see that.
No, I mean, the issue with Dale Coyne is I truly can't, they can't be tracked. You can't be I'm thinking 10 steps ahead of Dale Coyne because they're not thinking about it till the day of. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they should get rid of him. He's doing his best. He's driving in a Dale Coyne. Mm-hmm. But also, I'm like, maybe you could find another Rinus VeeKay. Maybe Linus and Rinus. Dale Coyne, 2025, 2026.
Now, can I say I like Jacob Abel, but that would be a little fun.
Rinus and Linus? Like, I think it would be a little fun. Although I don't know if Rinus would...
It's like Rinus Mario going from Mario. They could, like, do, like, a little, like, 1-2 punch to people. Like, Linus could take them out while Rinus passes them. Like, that's how they literally get wins.
Like Mario the Bash Bros. That would be good. Although, I'd be interested to see how Linus does in a car that's not a Chip Ganassi. But he is... Never mind. So, moving on. This is where our... pit strategy comes into play.
Worth it. The joke wasn't worth it, guys.
It wasn't. But we still laughed. Yeah. This is where the pit strategies start. Full disclaimer. I was watching NASCAR while I was also watching IndyCar. So there were times where I confused the pit strategies of one series with the pit strategies of the other. And I think sometimes that's just how the cookie's gonna crumble. But we see people go in on I guess it would be lap 12, lap 13 during the yellow. And notable people who come out of that, we got Nolan Siegel, who pits early. We got Scott Dixon. Whoa, trigger warning, Scott Dixon. Keep your eye on Scott Dixon. And then there was someone else. Oh, Christian Lundgaard does as well. And also Kyle Kirkwood. And
Connor Daly and Rinus.
Yeah, but...
You said notable. Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to throw them in there.
No. They were there too.
It's important to note, though, that this
means and Callum Ilott. Callum Ilott. Keep your eyes on the Prema car.
I didn't make note of Ilott because I didn't know it would be important. I will say it is worth noting. Okay, so we have Scott Dixon and Alex Plo and Kiffin Simpson all on different strategies.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
That's helpful, I think.
Not typical. Well, here's the situation with Kiffin. He's out.
He's out, right? That's one strategy you can do, and then. And then you have Scott Dixon, who's like, what if I do something different than Alex Plo to maybe win the race? And I was like, that's important. That's good, Scott. Like, I like it. Even if it doesn't work out for you, it's like, it's so weird how he always is on the same fucking strategy as Alex Palou. I'm like, that's not going to work. He's faster. You got to do something different. So I was like, at least he's doing something different. It didn't work, but it was fun.
No, but it could have, I think, maybe. In a different time.
Universe.
Maybe if it was 1996 and there was no rule to cut through the corkscrew, yeah, maybe Scott Dixon could have won. But that's not the reality we're living in, is it?
What happened to Rinus? No, whatever.
Rinus went off. Remember?
Yeah,
that was one of the...
Yeah. But before that, we have Alex Palou runs away with it.
Gone.
And then Colton is in second, and he's going so fucking slow with love comparatively to Alex Palou.
Yeah, because he's on the...
maybe that's not fair.
The hards.
And then the commentators, they kept being like, Pato's just going to have to sit behind Colton and go whatever speed he decides to go. And I'm like, or, importantly, he could pass him. He's on the same tires as Alex Palou. Why does he have to just sit behind? I mean, I understand passing's not easy, but it's also like, he was like within a second of Colton on the same tires as Alex Palou. Like, importantly, he didn't have to go to the same speed as Colton Herta.
No, yeah. If you notice that somebody in front of you is going slower than you would like to be, go around him.
That's what I do. Really important facet of motorsports.
Think about it.
I don't know.
And then lap 25, we have another situation. And Rinus VeeKay, how did it happen? No! Here's how it happened. Kyle Kirkwood, they were battling for not anything significant enough to create a massacre.
Not first.
And Kyle Kirkwood, dressed as Colton Herta. Interesting, when he commits a crime, he's always dressed as his friend. Whatever. Absolutely smokes Rinus VeeKay. And it was described as he probably just didn't think the space was going to be that narrow when he was overtaking Renus, and I was like, well, the space wasn't narrow. There was just a car occupying the space. Anyways, he launches him. Absolutely launches him. And he gets beached, unfortunately, while cars are going by. And I know what you may be thinking is like, wow, how long was the caution? Were people able to pit under it? Well, before we even get to that, was there a caution? No, there wasn't. Not for like a lap and a half, which was crazy to me because he was in a vulnerable area.
Yeah, they were like showing a camera shot of Renus just sitting there, and I'm watching cars just whoosh, 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 right past for like literally a lap and a half.
Yeah, it was a lap and a half. And I don't think I fuck with the excuse that it's like, well, they were trying to see if he could get it started. Okay, you got to put a timer on that, guys. 10 seconds.
Okay.
He can't get it started in 10 seconds. Take him to the DVP, DVP.
My thing is like, okay, you can try to get it started. There still should be a caution until it is started. And it's still faster than you getting towed. So it's like we're still trying to start it, even if there is a caution. It's more of just like there should still be a caution. I don't care if you're trying to restart it. There's a caution until you're back on track. Once you're back on track, the caution's done. There you go. Good job. You restarted it. You save yourself a tow. It's still faster. But like we're not risking your life in the process.
Yeah. This did heavily benefit Pato, though. Something to think about. Not calling the caution because he was able to pit and come out pretty good. But yeah, that's just abysmal. That absolutely pathetic by IndyCar.
Can I say something else about Kyle Kirkwood before we move on from this? So we talked about how he's dressed as Colton Herta. Yeah. He was also dressed as Colton Herta last week. Mm-hmm. On the practice 2, while it was delayed because of the fog, they did like a little interview with him. It was adorable. He interviewed Georgia as if he was the pit lane reporter and Georgia was the driver. It was really funny. But then they started talking to Kyle about his new sponsor. And the whole time I was like, I think this is a scam. It's like some weird ass company that's like that sells like silver and gold coins. And he's like, I have a Kyle Kirkwood coin you can buy. I'm like, what is it with IndyCar? Like, I understand we're like a struggling sport or whatever, but it's like half of these sponsors seem like scams. Like, so many IndyCar sponsors, once you find out what they are, you're like, is that legal or is there going to be like a lawsuit in a couple years about this?
Yeah, that is weird. But I do know these companies from like infomercials, like it used to be on like late night TV. So I am like,
they've been going on for a while.
They've been here for a while. It's like an MLM probably giving Mary Kay, giving Roden and Fields. Yeah, no, and why sponsor like the audience? Like, what are you gonna get from an IndyCar audience running your sponsor here? Or
and then
I don't know.
It was like last week in Canada. It was like called like something bowl. It was like some sort of gold bowl or some shit.
It's the same company.
This week, it's like got a different name. But then he like is like, oh, last week we were sponsored by the Canadian version of the company, and I was like, oh, okay. I think Canada must have like laws or something, and they like are different in Canada because like laws or something. There's probably some like regulatory reason why there are different names.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these sponsors sometimes. What are you doing?
All of that is to say, should we buy a Kyle Kirkwood coin for the studio?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right, for sure. I'll go ahead and see how much those are. They come with a certificate of authenticity.
Thank God. Could you imagine?
I don't... Authentically something. I don't know. Authentically a scam or something. I don't know. But they're authentic.
That's all that matters. Okay. This also benefited Colton as well because he pitted right before they called him in being like, I think there might be a yellow. You should probably get in here. So that was good. I guess. Whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to go back and forth between your notes and my notes.
Well, my notes are pretty good. I think they got it all covered, right? You know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like are missing words and don't make any sense, but they're good, probably, if you really put your thinking cap on and try to read them.
I like it, your notes versus my notes, because I'm like, these are the things that stood out to her versus like the things that stood out to me, which like I always write down like who's going in the pits and stuff, but like here you wrote Lundgaard passes Dixon on the corkscrew on lap 40. Looked pretty sick.
It did.
No, it did.
Also, that is probably one of the, like, low-key, I love you so much. That is one of the shadiest things you've ever said about this show. These are the things that are important to Andrea, which could mean anything, but I usually write down things about the race.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was on NASCAR notes, I thought.
Okay, but I was also on NASCAR notes, so I think we didn't communicate that well.
Yeah, we didn't.
That was
like, I usually assume I'm on NASCAR notes because you're the IndyCar girl.
I should have assumed that. I didn't assume that, so I was trying to do both, which made me really confused. Something I want to point out before we talk about how sick the overtake was on Dixon on lap 40 on the corkscrew. Nolan Siegel, the man, the myth, the legend.
I didn't make a single note of him. Yeah, the whole time I took notes, I just looked up and saw he was leading laps. At some point, I went,
didn't say anything.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? Sorry. Just through like pit cycles, he ended up leading. He's on the same strategy, remember, as Scott Dixon. But these were his first laps led in IndyCar. Did anyone shed a tear?
He led like 11 laps or something.
And he was the only other driver besides Alex Palou to lead any laps. And wow. I hope nothing happens later in the race that kind of screws it over for him.
Yeah. It's important to note that you brought up he's on the same strategy as Scott Dixon. I don't know if you noticed, Christian Lundgaard did a pretty sick overtake of Scott Dixon in the corkscrew on lap 40.
He was also on the same.
Yeah, but he stayed on the track last year he didn't, but this year he did, importantly.
Dude, last year's race was crazy.
No styrofoam in his front wing this year. Important to point out.
Impressive. Truly impressive.
Yeah.
But before that, we did have an instance where we had 3 notable runners who were all on the same strategy. This is just important because I think we simply have to acknowledge Callum Ilott, who was running with Siegel and Dixon. If there's one thing about Scott Dixon is he's gonna adopt 2 children to take with him on his strategy, and those were the ones.
I wonder if he ever looks behind and goes, "Oh, are you guys doing the same thing I am? Hey, what's up,
guys?"
Darling.
It's like, you know, when you're on the swing set when you're younger and you're going at the same pace as somebody else, and you like look over and you're like, that means we're married. It's just like that.
Are you copying me?
Wait.
Are you copying me?
I didn't know that you were in this group too.
Do you want to give me inspo creds?
It goes in the post race. I swear to God, if you don't say something about how I did it first.
If you don't give me fucking inspo creds, I'm blocking you.
I'm going to be
pissed.
Okay. There was a weird graphic comparing Alex Palou to a bunch of athletes of other sports that won a lot of championships to show he won more in his first 6 seasons than them. I didn't see this. So this must have been...
I included it in the doc. I found the picture. What do you think about it?
I appreciate it. So we have Alex Palou, who has 3 IndyCar championships, so through 6 full seasons of the career. And then he's being directly compared to Tom Brady, who has 3 Super Bowl championships. And then Wayne Gretzky.
They're the same. Hold on. So Tom Brady and Alex Palou, the same.
Equal. Yes. And then Wayne Gretzky, who has 2 Stanley Cup championships in his first 6 seasons. Yeah.
Only 2. So he's actually trash.
He's worse than Alex Palou. I get that. And then we have Tiger Woods, who cheated on his wife. And also has 2 Masters titles. That's all I know about Tiger Woods. Is I'm like, did we forgive him?
What? Yeah, can we go back in time? Can you and I like do some research on why people cared about that so much? Because I remember like
it's because his wife chased him with a golf club, and I was like, yeah, as she should. And people were like, no, that's really fucked up. I was like, well, what did he do to deserve it?
When these IndyCar drivers cheat on their wives, I hope they get hit with a car. I think it's funny, the irony. Sorry.
When Tom Brady cheated on his wife, she threw a football at him. It just makes sense. It's called an eye for an eye. And then we also have Jimmy Johnson, who has 2 NASCAR championships in his first 6 seasons. Wait a minute. Trash. Because Alex Palou has 3.
No, I literally was like, this is such a weird graphic because it's like such a specific data set.
Also,
It's like-
two
it's
of these
like
are team sports. So it's like, huh.
Right. Yeah. So, I just like was like, okay. They were just like, here's this graphic, and I was like, right. So, what? I don't know who this is for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is for like an IndyCar audience or if it's like somebody accidentally is watching their first IndyCar race and they like need you to know that Alex Plo is really good, so they like show you this graphic.
Is it just a way to use buzzwords? Be like Tom.
Yeah.
Maybe if we say Tom Brady enough, the football fans will show up and start watching IndyCar next weekend.
Yeah.
Or,
but yeah, it was just like so strange. Yes, Stanley Cup and Super Bowl are team sports. So you can't say it's just them that won those championships. Tiger Woods, pretty good. You know what I mean? Pretty good. But golf is pretty different, I would say, than Alex Plo. So I think maybe the only worthwhile comparison here is maybe the Jimmy Johnson one.
sure.
But even then, it's like, okay, I guess. You know what I mean? Like the NASCAR championship's pretty different than the IndyCar championship. Maybe it'd be more helpful to like compare him to other IndyCar champions. Maybe that would be helpful.
They've been trying to do that with the AJ Foyt comparison every weekend, and I think they just found out that it's not doing for them what they want it to do. You know what they should have done? They should have called up our friend Max Verstappen and see how they could put him on. Oh wait, but Max Verstappen's done better, right?
Yeah, so they wouldn't want to put that in there probably.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. Whoever at Fox had the same idea as me and was shut down, and I respect them.
So, I don't know. I just thought this was an interesting graphic. I was like, okay, so Fox is trying to do something here. I don't know. It wasn't helpful. I could have probably taken more notes on the strategy or something that was happening in the race. I just... I thought I was on NASCAR notes. I'm sorry. I really did. I was watching NASCAR and then I was like, oh shit, Kalamila is doing something, I guess.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, anyways, back to the race. We're cooking now.
You guys,
and
if you guys, you could just put the podcast on 2x speed during that.
This is about the time.
We just
yeah,
talked about.
We'll talk better about NASCAR. I promise. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll cover Portland so freaking good. You guys are gonna be so shocked at how good we cover it. But Pato Pitts comes out in the mix of the people on the Scott Dixon strategy. Unfortunately for him, that is Callum Ilott, and boy oh boy was Callum Ilott giving him a run for his money.
Kalamala's like, I'm gonna ruin your fucking championship battle.
Literally, yeah. So Pato comes out in front of him, and I mean, yeah, Callum Ilott is on the hunt, which forces, maybe it doesn't force, but Pato starts to drive desperate, and it shows because he starts making a lot of mistakes, which kind of continue through the rest of the race. I don't know if that's maybe just like a McLaren driver thing, because I feel like they get desperate, and then they get like wiggly, because Christian does it as well. Nolan, unfortunately, we never get to see him get desperate because it's just like a constant desperation because he's always getting taken out. Lando,
do it. Yeah.
I'm sure Oscar, if he ever felt desperate, maybe he would do it, but I think that's something that you would have to like figure out how to make him feel desperate.
Yeah.
But alas, we have Colton Herta, who's holding the gap with Pelot, which was kind of impressive, if I'm to be honest. Now, it was a gap that Pelot had created. Sure. Hefty, some would say. Mega. Zach Brown would probably say. But Colton was able to keep up with him. He was in P3, though. So we have Christian Lundgaard in P2, I think, at this point.
Well, they both pit. So Alex and Colton always seem to pit together. So they pit on lap 51. But one important note is that Colton's pit stop is always way longer than Alex Plo's. So if you're going to be on the same strategy as somebody, you guys are going to continuously pit the same time, you got to win at least one of those battles off pit road. You know what I mean? Like, a full second difference in your pit stop is not helpful, I would say.
No. It was a situation of the front left wheel nut coming off. Wasn't that it? And
sure.
It's
Colton's pit stop. It could be anything.
He had like a second one the tire changer did, like on his belt, and he just like whipped into action, so it could have been significantly worse.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Callum Ilott also had maybe this was Callum Ilot's issue. No. His issue was the air jack wouldn't work, and he kind of got screwed over in the pits as well because he was going to be fighting Pato a little bit more if it weren't for that. But pit stops are hard. I've always said that. So who can we really?
Do you think that maybe though, like when you do them every weekend, like you would maybe get good at them at some point or another?
Just like once a weekend, or like multiple times a weekend? Do you think?
Right. No, they do them multiple times a weekend.
Oh.
And he's been doing IndyCar for a while now.
But do they ever practice?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I think that for some reason the pit crews have like several other jobs on the team. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just am like, how many times are we going to allow this to happen to Colin before we like fucking try something different? I don't know. Like Penske fired their whole C-suite this year, and Colin has like basically the same pit crew, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, I would assume based on just watching that it's the same pit crew.
Sorry to Colin's pit crew. It's just like you got to do good at putting tires on. It's like important part of the race.
So we have some pit stops.
What do you want?
So they pit on 51, come back in on lap 70 as well. That's crazy. And then Pelot comes in on 52, but now we get, or 72, but now we get to lap 77, which I think I'm just going to skip all of the pit stop information because I'm confused by it.
Yeah.
This was a main conversation that I hope to see on IndyCar Twitter. There was a moment where Marcus Ericsson spins, and I think it was a self-appointed spin, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. He went off in the gravel.
But he went off in the gravel, and he's kind of like turned diagonally back towards incoming traffic. And it's very clear the car is not turning on. And he's on this blind hill. We watch Pato's onboard, and as you're going up the hill, you can see that there's a local yellow. But until Pato is on top of him and has to make a move to avoid him, you don't know where he's sitting. And we deal with this for, I think, nearly 2 laps. According to my notes, I have it on 76 is when he spins and stalls. And there's a local yellow that comes out. And then I have lap 79 is when full course caution comes out. Now, to be fair, that could be kind of iffy because I know the laps are rarely ever correct on IndyCar. But what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? I think if he's in a dangerous position, it doesn't matter if he can restart the car. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. He wasn't even, like, on, like, okay, Brenus, I was like, that's bad. And, okay, well, he's trying to restart. He's in the gravel. He's off the track. Can't think of a single excuse with Marcus. He's in a blind spot on the track, completely stalled out. And it was long enough that, like, every single commentator had given a full monologue on how there should be a fucking yellow out. It just like didn't happen. We get a fucking footage of something random happening in the pit lane. Some like IndyCar officials at the Andretti pit stall, I guess, seeing if he can restart it. Does it fucking matter? Does it fucking matter? Who cares?
IndyCar has the data to know if that car is on or not. But I'm also at the point where it's so risky to have him just sitting there. I don't care if he can restart it. The time that it would take to restart it is the same amount of time that it would take for a car to go head on into him and cause serious damage to both drivers.
And he was on his side. Or like this way, so it would have literally head on hit him.
Yeah, it would have like T-boned him, essentially.
Yeah.
That was just absolutely ridiculous. Dude, the yellows this year have been so bad. I'm still not over the fact that they didn't throw out a yellow for Louis Foster's spin, and we had Joseph Newgarden go upside down and nearly over the wall into the pits. It's like, this should never happen. I would much rather them. I don't think we have this conversation in IndyCar where we're like, they call yellows too soon. Like, that didn't need to be a yellow. It's not NASCAR. NASCAR has that issue where sometimes it's like, okay, well, did that really need to be a yellow? It's going to change the trajectory of the race. It's like, just call the yellow.
Yeah.
Just call the yellow. frankly. But
I mean, say you do have like, oh, IndyCar calls the yellows too soon. Okay, like what a problem to have. You know what I mean? It's like people, the fans might be like, oh, I wish IndyCar was more dangerous and people would die, then the sponsors would come back or something. I don't know. Like, we can have that fucking conversation on Twitter till the cows come home. I think that the conversation for that would be a lot better than the conversation of Marcus Ericsson is out for a couple races because he got T-boned on the top of a fucking hill in a blind spot while he's just sitting there.
Yeah, I'd much rather be
what a problem
too quick than too late. Nolan Siegel, as I mentioned before, one of the stars of this race, one of the stars of the season, I would say. He was, he pitted, obviously he's still on the same strategy as Scott Dixon, so there was hope for him, but he gets in this little kerfuffle with Louis Foster, and it was a battle that I don't know, he had a good chance of winning until he was simply taken out and was just pushed too far off, but he spins and he like stays on the throttle, which even the commentators were like, typically when you spin, the throttle is not your friend, but he was able to spin himself back around and get right back out there. So I don't know if that was intentional. It was kind of a goated move.
James supported him. He's like, yeah, fucking keep on it, buddy.
Yeah,
eventually you'll be in the right direction. Go for it.
It worked out. That's all that matters. And then we get, wasn't this on a restart? Maybe I'm just imagining this. But Santino spins with 10 laps to go.
I think there was a restart with Marcus.
Oh, because of Marcus.
So before that, Alex Palou had like a 9-second fucking head start. Not 9-second lead. And we all were like, what's gonna fucking happen? And then Marcus, eventually they decided to throw a yellow for it, which was interesting. Why throw it at all at that point? He's already almost died twice, so like, let's see if he can start it up. And then we do a restart, and I'm like, come on, Christian Lundgaard, like, you can fucking do this. You know what I mean? Like, we've got him in your grasp.
Can't.
Like, yeah, he can't. I'm like, rats. And then I'm like, okay, Santino spins with 10 to go. Let's do it again. I was like, come on, Christian Lundgaard, you can do it. Come on. I was like, let's
You've got
do
it this time, Christian.
You can do it. Somehow, Alex Palou gets like literally a 1-second lead on a single lap off a restart.
I don't know how he does it. I truly don't.
I'm not trying to be mean here. I literally was like, Christian Lundgaard isn't fit for it. We got to let somebody else be P2. I was like, I can't. I need somebody that's going to fucking do something about this. I was like, but can we fucking switch the lead car or something? Like, can we do something interesting?
Can we do team orders between Christian Lundgaard and Colton Herta?
All the other teams against Chip Ganassi, somebody else gets to go at fucking Alex Palou.
Let one of the Andretti's try. But yeah, Christian Lundgaard isn't able to get it done. And then I don't know what Scott Dixon was on, but he just goes wide for no reason. Actually, I think he was avoiding contact with somebody, goes a little too wide, leaves the door open for Mr. Pato O'Ward. Pato O'Ward now is up to P4. Not that it matters, because Alex Palou actually is going to win. There was like a couple laps where we were like, Colton Herta is hunting down Christian Lundgaard, and he's going to repay him for that lunge that Christian Lundgaard did on him earlier. But that never came to fruition. Much in the same vein as we were watching Lando hunt down Oscar Piastri during Spa. That never happened. Wasn't even close to happening.
Yeah. It was fun that they, I think the commentators sometimes they get themselves wound up just to try to make something interesting. But it's like, hey, I think Alex Palou's like fucking 10 seconds ahead of everybody. So
it frankly ain't happening. So we had Alex Palou win. Congratulations, Alex Palou.
I text all my friends. I said, you guys are really going to want to watch the Brickyard 400 at this point. I was like, so we already know what's going on here. So you guys might want to switch channels.
But we had Alex Palou win, Christian Lundgaard P2, Herta P3. Pato O'Ward is still second in the championship, but they have the same livery this weekend. Kyle Kirkwood drops down to fourth and gets overtaken by Scott Dixon. Which is devastating for Kirk Nation, but alas, we persist. Also, someone we have only talked about once, the Penske's.
Oh, yeah.
They all finished. And they finished pretty well. We had Will Power in P7, Scotty Mack, I believe, in P10, and then Joseph Newgarden in P11. And the conversation around Mr. Power, Mr. Will Power, is that he's obviously probably not going to sign with Penske for next year, which is just funny because he has been their best performer absolutely all season.
No, that's good.
It's like,
no, that's good. Fucking Penske perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Get rid of your best performer. The same year you get rid of everybody in your leadership.
Everybody else.
Penske perfect.
Interesting. Crazy. But
That's
happy
really
for
good.
Joseph Newgarden. Happy for Scotty Mack. Happy for Will Power always, though. But I'm so happy for those Penske fans who were just suffering.
Yeah. You're free now. Be free.
Be free.
Now we're going to some ovals. Be free. No, we have fucking... We don't have enough ovals. We don't have enough ovals. We don't have enough ovals.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to do Portland. Do another oval. Let's go to Iowa again, guys. It was so fun.
Let's run it back in Iowa. It's actually incredibly... Have you guys ever heard of corn sweat? That can make the racing fun. Have you ever wanted to run on damp concrete when it hasn't rained?
Thoughts?
Thoughts? Could be fun. Get your wets.
I hate it here. I don't want to go to Portland. Portland's stupid.
Portland's not stupid.
I don't like
Portland's
Portland.
fine.
No, I don't like Portland. Except for that one turn. Isn't there that one turn in Portland that everybody eats shit at?
Yeah, turn 1.
Oh. That one turn, a.k.a. turn 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that can stay, I guess. That sounds fun. But just that.
It'll be
The
fun.
rest of the track is stupid.
This track is dumb, stupid, and dumb. Stupid.
Dumb, stupid track.
I hate this
Portland
track.
what? Portland, Maine? No, it's the other Portland? Don't care then.
Portland, Oregon? Where even is
Boo.
Oregon?
The only thing I know is that it's not Forks. Washington.
It does kind of give off, though, Forks, Washington vibes, though. Okay, what if we just make it Twilight themed? We just, like, subtly make the entire weekend Twilight themed? Be like, are you Team Scott Dixon or Team Pillow?
Okay, that's it. We're basically on payroll at this point. IndyCar, listen to me. Marketing. You guys are going to do a skit for social media using Joseph Newgarden and Will Power in the woods. And Will Power's like, I know what you are. And Joseph's like, say it. And then it's like, you can't go out in the sun and you like run really fast and shit. And then Joseph's like, say it. And then Will Power's like, you're a vampire. Thoughts?
That's magical. Yeah, and then Will Power gets on Joseph Newgarden's back and he does like the running.
And then Joseph Newgarden goes, hold on tight, spider monkey. He says in the movie.
No, yeah.
You're welcome, IndyCar marketing. Like, it's like genuinely, it's like I have a fucking day job and it's not this for some reason. You know what I mean? It's like, this is my calling. Let me know when you guys are willing to talk. Laps down. Would love to work freelance for you guys. Yeah. Okay. Anything else IndyCar?
No IndyCar next weekend. That's it.
Boo. I'm also, can I just like say something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So we've been having like some rumors lately that Iowa is a no-go for next year. I think we all kind of thought that was going to happen. And there's been a lot of rumors about what could replace it. I think that Nathan Brown wrote this week that like it's between Phoenix and Homestead and Richmond. I was wondering if you had a preference between them.
I would like to see them go to Homestead, but I know that you have a soft spot in your heart for Richmond, so I will say I'd like to see them go to Richmond, just because I think you would have a lot of fun there.
I just don't think that, like, everybody's like, oh yeah, Phoenix or Homestead would be fun, and I'm like, there's a third one that Nathan Brown said. Do you think you guys could say something about Richmond, please, so that they fucking come to the East Coast?
Say something nice about Richmond. Everyone in the comments say something nice about Richmond. I like Richmond. I like Richmond. We can go to Richmond.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I think that would be lovely. And I think
okay, here's my thing. I think that Phoenix is like boring because the Penske's will win. Be using a NASCAR fact. The Penske's are gonna win, so it's gonna be boring.
Joey Logano somehow is gonna pull up and win that one.
Joey Logano's gonna somehow win, and it's not gonna be fun for any of us. So I don't think we should go to Phoenix. And then my thing with Homestead is I'm just like, do we not give enough racing to Florida? Like, does the state of Florida not already have enough? Like, they literally get everything. They have a fucking F1 race. They have an IndyCar race. They have a Formula E race. They have a fucking IMSA 24-hour race. They have literally they have so many NASCAR races. It just gets to a point where it's like, do they not have enough in Florida? Like, I think that they're a little bit fucking greedy about racing in Florida. And
that's fair.
I don't like it. So that's why I've decided it must be Richmond. It has nothing to do with the fact that Richmond is an hour from my house and would be the first time ever I could go to an IndyCar race without having to drop hundreds of dollars on a flight. Nothing to do with that. I just think it'd be fun. Nothing to do with those reasons that I said.
Not those at all. All right, I'm sold. We can go to Richmond.
Thank you. And Florida, fucking leave some for the rest of us, please. It's getting annoying.
I want them to go to Homestead so bad, though. Can't they go to both? I love Homestead. It's got the bees.
That's not enough, MJ. You want the
you don't care about the bees?
Spung?
Spung?
Spotters. You want the
get
spotters
spung?
You want the spotters to get stung.
No,
That's why you want to go?
I really like Homestead. But it's fine. We can go to Richmond. That's fine. I'll appreciate that.
Are you guys from... Has it been too long since we've told the Homestead story for people that know what we're talking about?
There were bees at the Homestead race last year up in the spotters stand. And there was just, like, swarms of them. You could see them from, like, on
the
camera.
Spotters were, like, scared. Really scared,
they were
actually.
Radioing down to their families and their drivers and being like, there's a fuck ton of bees up here, guys. And then someone...
like, just stay.
Someone called into, I think it was Door Bumper Clear, and made a song about the bees at Miami.
Banger! We just changed Steve Phelps to Roger Penske. It is a fucking banger. You're right. You know what? We can go to Homestead. I forgot how good the song was. I'm starting to warm up to it. Yeah, okay. I'm sold. I'm sold. Sorry you're losing your home race, though.
That's alright. I didn't even like IndyCar that much anyways. I think we'll become a really big NASCAR fan because they still come here.
You don't have tickets, though. Last chance for somebody to give MJ free VIP tickets to Iowa, please.
Let me be crew chief.
Dude, let her crew chief one race. What's the harm?
Please, guys, please. I'll teach you about the corn sweat.
Let her crew chief one race.
Just like one time.
I think she can do it.
Not even for someone like important. Just let me do it for like William Byron or something, or Chase Elliott or something.
Please. Somebody, I mean, some of them, they already got enough fucking wins. You know what I mean? Like, What are we doing here? You want a regular season championship? That doesn't even mean anything. Denny, come on. Let her do it.
Please.
Denny. Joseph is going to love her. Let her have a go at it.
Please let me crew chief. I'll do a good job.
You guys don't even know how much fuel is in that car. It's all guessing. She can guess.
I can guess
really
just
good at
as
NASCAR
well.
fantasy. She's really good at NASCAR
Guys,
fantasy.
I'm so good at NASCAR fantasy. You have to let me be the crew chief. Please. That could be fun.
Okay.
Watch this space.
Watch this. We're like teasing you being a crew chief. So let's talk about NASCAR. So we got the official news that Chicago is obviously a no-go. And we were kind of hearing for quite a while now that it was going to be replaced by San Diego. But we heard officially that they're doing a San Diego race in a Navy base. Besides the point of the race, I will say they announced it with like the coolest fucking video ever, and
it was sick.
Oh, it sucks so hard. So, I think that military propaganda in motorsports, it's like, okay, maybe it's a bit much, but sometimes it's really fucking sick. And then I'm like, well, I don't know, man. I think it's cool when they fly the planes like it's Top Gun. I'm sorry.
Very cool. I think military propaganda is fine if there's like a skit aspect involved, is what I've decided. Because like when I see Bubba Wallace drive the Space Force car, I'm not like, I should enlist. But then after seeing this promo for this San Francisco race, I was like, maybe I will hit up my local Navy recruiter. Yeah.
Yeah. You strike me as somebody that would do really well in the military.
Thank you. That was really nice of you to say.
If there's anything that laps down is it's like really like disciplined. Yeah.
No, I think
you fucking edit those clips every week. And put the little captions on them for TikTok.
That's true. And I do it in a very orderly and timely manner, and I never forget to put them.
I don't know. I mean, it was like a full fucking remake of Top Gun. It was really cool. Sick. I'm not sold on the track. Military bases aren't really like known for like fun twists and turns and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they usually are pretty dull when it comes to the layout, because it's like it's a military base, so you want to be sure you can like get in and out of there in an orderly fashion if you were, say, at war. So like it's not really not a lot of loop-de-loos. I don't know if that's required. I don't know. I guess the Chicago track wasn't that crazy. I don't know. I was just like, I'm not really sold on this layout.
Are you going to have, because it's on the base, are fans going to have clearance to like, can like previous criminals go onto the base to watch NASCAR? Aren't they doing something at the Navy base? Like, shouldn't they be working? Are we interrupting something?
The thought of the logistics and like OPSEC that would have to like, if you cared to do it stresses me out. But I think that they are allowing fans that are non-military on the base.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe this isn't, like in this climate, maybe this isn't the best time to let a bunch of people onto a Navy base. But I do fucks heavy with the road course. SVG's going to do great.
SVG's going to have a fun time. So, I mean, we can have it as a treat. I think SVG's definitely going to win. So that was fun. I think personally, I don't think that the track is going to be that interesting. As cool as the promo was, I'm not really sold on it 100%. I think that the Chicago race fulfilled such a unique thing for NASCAR in putting NASCAR in front of an audience that maybe doesn't give a fuck about NASCAR. And it literally, like, forced people in a new market to at least know NASCAR was happening. You know what I mean? Like, even if you just lived in Chicago and never cared about NASCAR, you knew it shut down a bunch of the main roads in your town. I think that that is why street races are so great at bringing new fans to a sport. That's why F1 and IndyCar and NASCAR, they all love the idea of a street race. I don't think that this is going to do that. I think that San Diego is maybe a market that is already being reached by several other races on the NASCAR calendar. If you like NASCAR and live in Southern California, I think that there are other races you could attend. So I'm just kind of like not 100% sold on it. I wish maybe if Chicago wasn't happening because of logistics reasons, we would have picked a different city. When they said San Diego, I at least thought it was going to be San Diego, like downtown San Diego, but it wasn't.
I thought so too. I don't know. I'm not.
But it's America's birthday, so what the fuck do I know? Next year's the 250th anniversary of both the Navy and the United States. So it's part
but don't they have a birthday every year then? So isn't this technically America's birthday? But it's special because it's the 250th. Well, then why can't we just do something like a normal country would do and just have like a UFC fight on the White House lawn? Why do we have to have a NASCAR race at the Navy base?
I think they're doing something special at the Iowa State Fair, too.
I don't know anything about that. And now I fear for
Trump
it.
We're having like a whole little trip to Iowa.
The Iowa State Fair hasn't started yet, but he comes to Iowa all the time. Can't get rid of that guy.
Next year they're doing something special at the Iowa State Fair for 250th birthday of America. What? You don't feel celebrated?
I don't feel safe.
It seems like a threat. Enjoy the last birthday,
America. We're gonna do something special. They just bomb the Iowa State Fair. Don't do that.
Lapsdown's gone woke. We also had
this
Denny
is the
Hamlin.
worst episode.
No, it's fun. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody in the comments say you're having a good time. Denny Hamlin re-signed for JGR. I feel like I would have waited to see if I was going to win the championship. You know what I mean? Because it's you could retire after that if need be.
No, he can't retire, though, because he's got to stick it to NASCAR a few more years. He's like, you guys think you're winning this lawsuit? Well, guess what? You're not getting rid of me for at least 2 more years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sticking it to NASCAR. Good enough reason to stick around, I guess. It's not like you have a family or anything. Next week, the TV streaming will no longer be on TNT. It'll be on USA Network. And I think it's on USA for the rest of the year.
What the fuck is USA?
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. NASCAR's just going to send me off to my other parents' house because they don't want to hang out with me anymore. And they're like, don't you think it's your dad's weekend? And I was like, he's not my real dad. My real dad is Amazon Prime, but I guess I'll go hang out with Tim.
Yeah. I think that it's a different commentating team as well. I think Lee Diffie will be there.
I love Lee Diffie.
Okay, our tune has changed.
I adore Lee Diffie. He was the one who did most of the end of the year last year when we started watching. I think probably before the playoffs. Yeah. Oh, what a treat. Okay.
She's back. She's back. She loves USA. I don't think Dale's going to be there though, so womp womp. So Brickyard 400. We did some qualifying. Denny, right off the news of his new contract, decided to eat shit, which is great. Right into the wall, no problems. Backup car for Denny. And Chase Briscoe gets pole. He has gotten pole at all of the 3 crown jewels, including the Daytona 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and the Brickyard 400. Which of those do you think he won?
None of them.
Correct answer. Good job, MJ. You're really good at NASCAR trivia. I don't know. Is it fun to shit on Chase Briscoe anymore? I mean,
it's kind of
his race.
It's kind of pathetic at this point. We tried to shit on him once, and then he accidentally won the next one. So I don't want to risk anything.
Yeah. So we'll just keep our mouth shut on that. But Cookie Monster was there. I don't know what is going on here. I don't even know why, but Cookie Monster was decided to be the grand marshal of this race, and I couldn't think of anything more splendid than that. I just thought it was really funny. I'm glad they chose Cookie Monster. They could have gone for something boring, like Big Bird or something like that, but they were no, let's bring the character with the most.
Not the Big Bird slander.
Well, he doesn't have as fun of a brand. You know what I mean?
He's
I love Cookie Monster as a
8 foot tall, yellow, anthropomorphic bird.
It's not a fun bit.
It's not a bit.
The cookies are a fun bit. The cookies are a fun bit.
The cookies are a fun bit. I love Sesame Street. I would have taken anybody, but I was really excited to see it was Cookie Monster. And I love that he has the thing with 2311, specifically Bubba, because Bubba went on Sesame Street. Earlier this year when Cookie Monster announced that Sesame Street was doing a little road trip across the country. And so he had pictures it was him and Cookie Monster and his baby and his wife, and that was really cute. And then we got pictures of Tyler Reddick and his kid, Bo, and Cookie Monster. And then we just got a picture of Riley Herbst and Cookie Monster because he doesn't have any kids.
He is a child.
Eric Jones. We had a cute little clip of Kyle Larson's youngest meeting Cookie Monster, which was I cried. Very cute.
Yeah, it was. I think there was something endearing about Kyle Larson's kid. He went hands on. He's like, I'm gonna have to touch your face a lot.
It's really cute.
Cookie Monster was like, okay, we can do that. That's cool. We also had Ty Dillon made a sacrifice, made an offering.
Yes, when they were doing the driver's intros, Cookie Monster was down the line of people whose hands you have to shake, but he didn't shake Cookie Monster's hands. He goes, "Hey, I got something for you, and hands him like a real chocolate chip cookie, which Cookie Monster proceeds to eat. But I was literally like, he made the sacrifice. He's going to win now. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but that's side still delivered.
They did
a press conference.
And Jeff Gluck, of course, asked a hard-hitting question, which is how fun you're here as the Grand Marshal. Sometimes I'm like, that's not a question. I think that I don't know how to be a journalist, but I'm like, you guys say you're going to ask me a question, then you just say a statement. That's not a question. Anyways, we'll talk about that at a later date. And Cookie Monster just proceeds to eat the checkered flag.
Yep, he eats the checkered flag, and then someone else asked him, like, you're not doing the command. But if you were going to do the command, like, how would you do it? And he's like, you want to see how fast I can eat this cookie? And he eats it really fast. He goes, did anyone time that?
Yeah, it's a good bit. It's a really good bit. Like, I don't think Big Bird could have delivered like that. You know what I mean?
I think Big Bird would have been scary for many of the young fans. Because he's not that big on TV, but 8 feet is pretty tall when you're standing right next to him, you know?
Every time you say it, I think it gets taller.
No, I think he like canonically 8 feet, or maybe I'm just making that up. I feel like that's a fact I know.
I think the first time you said 6 foot.
6 foot isn't even tall. I would never say that. That's my stance for this week.
We haven't lost him on our political stuff. We've definitely lost him now.
Well, I can say that because I'm 6'4". But he didn't do the command.
I'm 5'2".
Yeah. I think people know this, but I am the taller of us two by a lot. Cookie Monster didn't do the command, but he did tell the drivers to go to their cars, but they didn't show it on TV. So I did kind of lose my mind for a minute until Jeff Gluck was like, oh, they didn't show it on TV. Here's a video of it. And I was like, thank God. I was about to lose my mind. But it was very cute. I really, really appreciated. I don't know, just felt like NASCAR was like really wholesome. I'm like, I can't think of a better person to have at NASCAR. It was really cute.
No, I agree. I loved it. I was very excited for Cookie Monster. Okay, we had an Xfinity race. Should we talk about that?
Xfinity!
This was on Saturday, pre-Cookie Monster. Sorry, guys, we're going a little out of order. But we had an Xfinity race. Justin Allgaier was, I think, set up pretty beautifully to win this Xfinity race. It was going to be the 100th win for Junior Motorsports, as Justin Allgaier has been a very successful part of Junior Motorsports. I think it was like a very great storyline that we were setting up. Unfortunately for Justin Allgaier, he had the misfortune of being next to Kyle Larson. Never want to be next to Kyle Larson if you're at IMS. It's not a good place. If you're next to Kyle Larson at IMS, you're in danger. You're in a bad place. Days. Mm-hmm. So Kyle ran him up into the wall, and that was day over for Justin Allgaier. Pretty unfortunate. We also had another fun little storyline where Austin Hill and Eric Amarola, two people I don't like in Xfinity. Austin, who famously said in a driver's meeting at Xfinity that he was somebody he wanted the other drivers to look up to on how to race clean. And Eric Amarola, who said he was going to be in Xfinity part-time to teach these kids the proper way to race, just all around. And then Kyle Larson, who famously said he wanted to embarrass the Xfinity kids. Huh, crazy. Just a lot of real winners we got here this week. Eric Amarola, he maybe taps Austin Hill a little bit. Austin Hill looks like he's going to lose it. He saves it. And then you can see. Save. Yeah, impressive save. He gets it straight, and then you can see through the windshield wearing white gloves. Interesting wardrobe choice if you're going to do this. He fully turns into Eric Amarola and seemingly purposely spins him out, ends his race, immediately hops on the radio and says, guys, that was so on accident. That was so crazy. I just didn't have any control over the car. Again, if you're going to commit vehicular manslaughter, don't do it in white gloves.
That's literally what they say.
We can see through the windshield that you fully saved it. We're going straight. And
his defense, he gets out of the car and he puts the gloves down and he goes, they don't even fit me, dude.
I wasn't wearing white gloves. I don't know whose hands that are. That's not mine.
I can't even get it on. Watch me try to get it on. Guys, it couldn't have been me.
Dude, it's AI. It's a fucking deep fake. That's not even me in there, by the way.
I don't even drive that car. I retired.
But he got a 5-lap penalty and seemingly nothing else. Now, if you spin somebody out, particularly on a high-speed oval, you're supposed to get suspended. Getting suspended would ultimately mean forfeiting his playoff points. He would not be in the playoffs.
Well, I think he would be in the playoffs because it wouldn't take away his win, but he would just start with 0, if I'm not mistaken. I was trying to follow.
Okay, this is the rules. I don't fucking know. Yeah, this is
I know.
not knowing NASCAR rules. I'm sorry.
Well, I was trying to follow, like, I think it was like Bob or Jeff or somebody, but it sounded like it would wipe away his playoff points, but technically he would still be in the playoffs. Either way, he should probably still get suspended for.
Is that you think he should be suspended?
Yeah, I mean, and people are trying to defend him, being like, no, it wasn't intentional. But after they gave him the 5-lap penalty, which I've never seen before in NASCAR, like holding him for 5 laps, I've never seen before. After they did that, he decides to like go on a huge tirade over the radio, being like, fuck NASCAR, they can go fuck themselves. You know, the exact same things that precious little Nolan Siegel said, and then he had to give an apology for. But that kind of was an admission of guilt to me. But also, you know what else is an admission of guilt to me? Just the way he drives normally. Like, this is not out of his realm of, like, 30-year-old man tantrums that he kind of throws.
Yeah.
But Richard Childress did say that this wouldn't happen to other
blue-collar team.
Blue-collar teams. And then someone did tweet out a picture of the mansion he lives in. And I said, that's not very blue-collared affordability.
I don't think he knows what that means, because it's like everybody who like is like a mechanic on a NASCAR team is technically working a blue-collar job.
I think he thinks blue-collar means Republican.
I think, he thinks it means like, I get my hands dirty, I'm one of the people out here.
It's like, no.
Making a team from scratch. And it's like, well, that also would not apply to you either, by the way. Just a point. If that's what you also believed blue-collar to mean, that also would not apply to you.
That is incorrect. But it is funny that he's now gotten in trouble twice, or RCR has, for a guy named Austin purposefully wrecking somebody at an oval. I just think that's funny.
That is funny. I just hate Austin Hill. God, that guy sucks.
He has such a bad attitude, like, constantly, which is really weird, because I'm like, things seem to be going really well for you, bud, most of the time. I guess I don't really understand what there is to be so angry about.
Keep your nose clean. You probably would have won fucking Daytona in a couple weeks or something. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that what you do? You just show up and win those fucking annoying-ass drafting track races, and then we all gotta fucking put up with it?
Puts himself in the mix. That's what they call that.
Whatever the fuck that means. Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, I was in the right place to win at Daytona. I put myself in the mix. Is the mix just anyone who didn't crash? That's the mix.
That's the mix.
Didn't he win like Atlanta or something this year? Basically the same way? He was in like 7th or some shit, and everybody else just fucking crashed because Jesse Love or somebody crashed Connor. I don't even know. I just remember it was like he won from like 7th or something, and they were like, he was in the mix all day. Yeah. No, it's just 1 through 6 crashed. Congratulations, 7th. You win. The fuck does that mean? And why is it always him? Why is it always him? God, I hate that guy. Can we suspend him forever? Just so I don't have to look at him.
I can ask.
Okay. You're making me side with Eric Amarola, and he spells his name weird. For no good odd reason.
Eric went head on into the wall, which was another factor, I think, in my decision to be like, yeah, we should probably suspend Austin
No safer barrier on that part of the wall either.
And Eric said that it was one of the hardest hits right next to the one where he broke his back. That's never something you want to hear. So no. I think, well, no, it's like a Tuesday situation where we always know like the following Tuesday if there's going to be any decision. So keep your eye out. We'll probably let you know. Or maybe we won't.
Some people said right now it's probably a decision between 1 week or 2 week suspension. Like it's guaranteed he's going to get a suspension, but I don't feel like it's guaranteed.
No, nothing in NASCAR is guaranteed. Let me see. So it'd be Iowa and Watkins Glen. Yeah, Suspend him for 2.
Yeah, probably for the best. I don't want him to ruin my good time at Watkins Glen, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's going to be a fun weekend for me in Xfinity, and I don't want him to be part of it, so.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to accidentally run into him at a Hy-Vee in Iowa, so.
It's best he doesn't even come to the state.
Yeah.
Okay, well, glad we decided that. And Connor ended up winning instead of Justin Allgaier. If you guys will remember, Justin Allgaier was crashed out by Kyle Larson, in case you forgot. That's 3 in a row for Connor, and the 100th win for Junior Motorsports. This kid, he's really good at NASCAR.
He's doing a really good job this year.
I don't know. I'm nervous still about, like, everybody keeps just being like, I don't think he's ready for Cup. I don't think he's ready for Cup.
The thing about Cup is I don't think, and Dale Jr. was kind of saying this, so I'm actually just stealing what he's saying. You're never coming up from Xfinity to Cup. The cars are so different. It's the same way you'll see people absolutely dominate in F2 and they get up to F1 and it's like, well, it's a whole ass different car. Like, maybe nothing's guaranteed. So I think it's going to be one of those things we may have like a rough rookie season. Maybe probably rough in a similar way to like SVG's rookie season where it's like, okay, ovals are a little different, but we might kick some ass on some road courses and some street courses. I don't know. It could be an option. But I don't know. I think after this win, I'm kind of like, well, what's he going to do in Xfinity next year? Just this
I don't
again?
think he can stay there. I don't think he could stay in Xfinity because it's like he's too young. He's too talented. He's clearly learned what he needed to learn in Xfinity. You know what I mean? It's like half the fucking races he didn't win, he still was running at the front and then something happened. It's not like there's been like hardly any races. I can't think of any really where I'm like, oh, Connor's having like a bad fucking weekend because he is doing bad. So I don't know what staying in Xfinity would do for him, especially if it's not even going to help him get better for Cup. So I'm just like, okay, sure, go to Cup. But then I'm like, he's going to be at Trackhouse? Are you sure no other teams? Come on, JGR.
I think Trackhouse would be good for a first year, for a rookie season. Maybe they'll get their shit figured out with the tires. I'm not worried about Trackhouse. It's gonna be a big transition. I think he'll be fine. I'm kind of, because if not, he's gonna run in Xfinity for another year, and then we're gonna have this same conversation. Because JRM can't like field him or support him racing in like 10 like Cup Series races. Like there's just I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Keep your head up, Connor. You'll be fine. Yeah,
you're fine. You're like fucking a 19-year-old prodigy, and I'm just some weirdo on the internet. So don't listen to me. Have fun. So then we have the actual Cup race. Chase Briscoe leads the race from pole for a while. You texted me. Okay, what are we gonna do about this? Guys, somebody quick, get in here.
This isn't funny.
But then we do have a yellow on lap 18. Ross crashes in his beautiful Busch Lime car. He was blocking Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell didn't realize that he was fuel saving so much and like kind of had like weird erratic braking because of that, and he accidentally spun Ross out. You think that's a lie? You just shook your head. You think that's a lie?
No, I don't think it's a lie. I don't understand what Ross was doing with his braking.
I don't either. That's just what Michael said, and everybody went, yeah, that's how that works, you know?
Yeah, because he was like erratically braking, but I didn't know the fuel saving thing. I guess maybe.
Sure. I don't know. I just work here. And so then we have a yellow. Chase and everybody else, they pit, and he ends up losing the lead. At that point, from people who decided to stay out, notably Joey Logano and Austin Cindric. And I don't know, I thought that was interesting. Joey Logano and Austin Cindric stayed out. They were like, the Penske's are doing something different here because they want to impress, and Josh Berry. And they said that they want to impress the boss man. They said Roger Penske owns this track, so they want to impress the boss man. And I was like, okay, do all three of you got a bank on whatever this strategy is? Because again, I think like you could maybe switch it up, but whatever. They ended up having to do green flag pit stops, and Chase Briscoe wins stage 1. I don't know, stage 1 was pretty boring. I was starting to feel like this might be a boring race. Apparently there was a crash on the restart into stage 2.
It wasn't...
MJ took notes on this.
It was just everyone was kind of checking up, and it ended up resulting in like a lot of the field getting damaged. It took out Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's too bad. And
Rats.
But I mean, Ty Dillon had issues. Julia tweeted out that Daniel Suarez had issues. Bush had issues. Yeah. Who else?
Was Chris Buescher in this?
I
feel like I saw him later on with like duct tape on the front of his car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Reddick had damage. John Hunter Nemechek had damage. It was just like a weird checking up situation, and a bunch of people got into the backs of each other. I don't know. It was really weird, but then I just kept getting notifications that it's like, oh, this person also has damage they're reporting over the radio. And so I was like, okay, who's fine here?
It's unfortunate because I think that... So the Toyotas were pretty fast. Tyler Reddick, I think, was also kind of hoping that this race might have been a race that would play out for him to get a win at. And he never really probably recovered fully from this damage that he got on that, because I think he was kind of out of it a little bit for the rest of the race, which was unfortunate for him. I don't care that much, though, because the winner was better anyway. So, womp womp. Austin Cindric, though, he is still kind of doing this weird strategy along with Joey Logano, where they're kind of like on a different pit cycle. He's going kind of long, and he's in the lead. And then his right front goes down. And everybody starts pitting because they think it's going to go yellow. It ends up not going yellow, and Austin makes it all the way around. But they never really said fully what happened, that the right front went down. But I think I heard something about, like, the Penske's were running lower air pressure or whatever. You know, like how people do that at all these tracks. They're like, oh, we're going to live life on the edge. And then they, for some reason, do that again with the whole team. So this will be important later on. And turns out they live life a little too on the edge.
Too la vida loca.
No, so true. But I kind of, when Austin Cindric was riding out front, I was like, hell yeah, Austin Cindric. Like, avenge your father and the nightmares the Cindric family endured here at IMS. I was like, do it in his memory. He's not dead. He's just dead to Penske. I was like, do it. I kind of was like, it'd be fun for the story if Austin Cindric's on like some magical strategy call that ends up like winning him the race. But it didn't matter because his tire blew. I don't know. Do you think that was Roger Penske's last fuck you, Cindric? That's for the attenuator.
No, I don't think that Penske has bad vibes with Cindric. I do, however, have a working theory that Cookie Monster is the Etsy witch that cursed all of the Penskes.
Okay.
And that's what I decided to use to cope for what was happening to all the Penskes throughout this race.
Right. Lap 91, the yellow comes out when Eric Jones, right after he pitted, his brake router cut the tire. So he ended up hitting the wall, too. Kind of sucked. Did he have puppies on his car this week?
I don't think so.
Sometimes he has puppies on his car.
No, it wasn't.
Like, that would make sense.
It wasn't this week.
Okay. Ryan Blaney, though, ends up winning stage 2. So he was like, fuck the Penske curse. Denny, though, he's in the front for the restart. And he's not supposed to be there, because if you remember, we mentioned he crashed in qualifying, and he had a backup car that they built in 7 hours, and he started in last place. So they didn't really talk, I feel like, very much about specifically what strategy he was working off of. And I remember you texted me, and you were like, what is Denny doing up there? And I'm like, that's a beautiful point. I don't know, but he did something right. Good for Denny, I guess.
Yeah, I truly don't know how that happened, because he was complaining for, like, a lot of the beginning of the race, being like, yeah, this car is not going to get it done. And then he got up there. He got up to, like, I think he was top 5.
Yeah. That's insane. But it's him and Kyle Larson for much of the last stage in the lead of the race. I was starting to get pretty nervous that we were going to have a Kyle Larson win. I was getting a little nervous. The only thing that was kind of keeping me going was that Catherine Legg was like kind of having a good time. You sent me a radio message where they were like, if only we could have practiced, maybe we'd be like actually doing really fucking well at this race. Because Catherine was driving amazingly. They probably just like, had they had practice, would have had a better idea of like setup and stuff like that. Like she could have probably had like a car to like actually fucking compete. She was on like a little bit of a different strategy. She ended up getting up to 5th with 30 laps to go, and then ended up getting all the way up to 2nd behind Ryan Blaney at one point. And she was kind of like doing this thing where she was just going to keep fucking going until there was a yellow. I think that was like basically the strategy. With like 20 to go, she was in 2nd, and they were like, if we get a yellow, we'll be cooking with gas here. But she was at like 2% on the little burn bar or whatever that they kept showing. And I was like, what's the plan here? But I honestly didn't care. I kind of wanted Ryan Blaney just to eat it in front of her so that she could at least lead a couple laps. I don't know. Sorry, Ryan. I just wanted you to sacrifice yourself for the greater good.
Yeah, for the greater good.
Yeah. But Joey Logano also has his left rear tire go down with 26 to go. So whatever the Penske's did with their tires, don't do that again. That wasn't a good idea, clearly. Then he goes to pit to get his tire fixed. Car has no power. Whatever. Sure, whatever. That's fine. I don't care, though, because we now have Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson leading with 15 to go. This is where I was like, okay, now I'm telling everybody, leave that IndyCar race with peace and love. I was like, I think we're cooking something over here at the Brickyard 400. They all in the front, like I would say the top 5 or 6, were running low on fuel, varying forms of low. Kyle Larson had a bit more than Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace did not have much. William Byron was also in the top 5 with not much. Denny was kind of like Kyle, where like he had a bit more. 10 to go, they're like, Bubba has enough fuel. He'll be good. But with 6 to go, we get a caution for rain in just turn 1. It ended up being kind of a bigger rainstorm. I think it also kind of affected turn 2. And it was like kind of a weird torrential downpour out of nowhere and just over half the track. And I was like, no, that's good. Yeah, probably that's what would happen when Bubba was leading the race comfortably.
Sure.
Sure, why not? And I was getting really fucking nervous. They were like, if we keep running these caution laps, you're going to definitely run out of fuel. So I was like, somebody do something, please. And they're like, okay, we're going to go sit in pit road. I don't know if do they leave the cars running when they're in pit road?
I don't think so. I think they turn them off.
And everybody knows when you turn your car off and then turn it back on, that burns fuel. Something probably car-related happens there. I don't know. I just think I heard that once, and I just have internalized that. And every time I start my car, I think about, oh, there's so much money wasted.
My car would go so much further if I just never turned it on.
Yeah. Or never turned it off, alternatively.
Oh, now you're cooking with fire.
Yeah.
Cooking with gas?
I don't know. I was kind of like, can we get a fuel check for Bubba, please? Like, I don't know how worried I should be because I think it was at like fucking 6% fuel when we came down pit road. And then they're like, okay, we're going to dry the track. And then they're like, okay, we're going to go back out there and do probably 100 caution laps just for good measure. And I'm like, can we get a Bubba Wallace fuel number, please? What's going on? And we basically hear, yeah, Bubba's good for one, like, restart, overtime, 3 laps to go. Mm-hmm. After that, probably not. And so I was like, that's good. We just got to push through. And so we do the restart. It's looking good. We're about to see the white flag. And then instead we see Tyler Reddick in the background and fucking Zane Smith crashing. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, Tyler, please. Tyler, fucking please. I was so pissed at Tyler. I please.
And it happened because he had decided when the pits were open, before they did the overtime, that he was going to go get fuel because he was anticipating them having more than one restart, which is ironic considering he was the reason they had him doing that actually led to the second restart. Yeah. Kind of poetic if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing he got fuel, huh? I was like, Bubba's done. I was like, dude, Bubba's fucking done. Did Tyler cause the wreck? I didn't really see the replay.
I don't know. I don't know, actually.
Can we blame him? Can we blame him
I'd like to.
Good measure. Okay. So it's Tyler's fault. Tyler ruins Bubba's chances at winning, like a horrible fucking teammate he is. And I'm like, it's game over, guys. Kyle Larson's going to win. And then they line up. And I'm like, wait a second. They're like telling him to stay out there. They're like, you're good. Like, just stay out there and save like you've never fucking saved fuel before. And then they go radio silent. Like, nobody hears anything else from Bubba's radio. I was like, fuck. And then I was like, Denny is in the top 4. He could line up directly behind Bubba, give him a push. Then we could just ride this out to the win. So I'm like waiting for the choose. And fucking William Byron lines up behind Bubba. And then Denny behind William. So of the top 4, everybody chooses the bottom except for Kyle Larson, who chooses the top. And I'm like, okay, fucking William Byron's going to ruin this somehow for Bubba. He's going to like, I don't know what I thought William Byron was going to do. I just thought this was some Hendrick plan. I was like, he's going to crash Bubba out or something and give the win to Kyle. It's some Hendrick master plan. I was like, William, this isn't you. Please look at me. Don't do this. But Bubba gets Kyle Larson on both of these restarts pretty significantly. And then on this one, they actually end up just finishing the deal. And he wins. He doesn't run out of fuel like William Byron does. Halfway through this restart, he does run out of fuel with love. And I don't know. I think it was like probably the most anxious I've ever been at the end of a NASCAR race. I think that the fuel thing, I hated on it initially when I started getting an IndyCar and NASCAR, but I think it makes for quite an interesting aspect that you don't get in like F1 racing. It's confusing, but I love it. And I've come to be like, it's always my faves that are like about to fucking run out of fuel. And it's interesting how they never actually do. I'm always like, thank God for whatever fucked up fuel math they have.
Yeah, fuel numbers, illusions. They're, when you learn about imaginary numbers in algebra, that's just fuel numbers. They're not real.
Yeah.
There's no math behind those.
They're teaching you how to do fuel bar math. I think it was probably also the most emotional I've ever been after a NASCAR win. Mm-hmm. Bubba had a pretty long no-win streak, and he was on the good side of the playoff bubble, but I don't think he would have wanted to get in, like, just on points. Like, he really, I think, has been patient this year. A lot of times he could have won and things didn't go his way. And he's always had a good attitude about it. And just seeing, like, all the other drivers, like Ryan Blaney give him a thumbs up out the window and SVG give him a little bumper tap, and seeing him cry and have his kid and his wife there. And just also, like, knowing 2311 and, like, the bullshit that they've been going through with the lawsuit. I'm sure that hasn't been easy on that end of things either. I think that this was probably, like, one of the most feel-good wins this season.
Yeah, I agree. It was a big win. And he had his son there that he did the Lion King thing with again. I like that. I like that bit. And also, he put all the haters to rest until they move, as he mentioned, until they move the goalpost again.
Yeah, so now it'll be like, well, he only has 1 win this season, not 2.
Crazy. I knew he was going to pull it out, though, because his friggin' Cookie Monster was there. You can't disappoint the Cookie Monster.
No, that's so true. And we also got a P17 finish for Catherine Legg.
Amazing.
I don't know. I miss Catherine Legg in IndyCar because I feel like we don't see very much of her in NASCAR. I feel like it's like she's there and they don't ever talk about her. They don't ever give her screen time unless she's crashing. it's like even in IndyCar, I feel like we didn't get that much of her, but like there was, I guess, just like less cars, so like it was more likely they would talk about something about Catherine Legg's race. But I don't know. I think it was really great to see like a lot of people were recognizing Catherine Legg's talent, considering how this is her first like real true go at NASCAR this year. I feel like she's showed improvement across the races that she's been in, and I don't think the equipment she has is ever going to be something that's going to deliver stellar results. So for me at P17, I feel good about that, and I think Catherine Legg should feel good about that too.
Yeah.
And I hope she keeps getting better. I don't know what the goal is here. I don't know if it is for her to run in the Cup Series more seriously next year, or if it's always going to be like kind of these one-offs like at tracks that she likes and tracks that she's good at. But it's nice to see the Elf partnership still in motorsports. It's nice to see Catherine Legg every weekend.
I think she's talked about wanting to do something more. When they ask her about like, okay, well, you kind of bounce around all these motorsport series, what's next? She says something along the lines of like, I think I'm having a lot of fun in NASCAR and I want to get really good at NASCAR. I'm like, hell yeah. Okay. What do we got to do? You want to go to the 99?
Sure. Let's go.
Put you in the 99. Girl,
get in here.
Put you at JRM. I don't know. Find something.
Yeah. So, any thoughts? Oh, and of course, fucking Ty Gibbs wins the in-season tournament because we can't have two good things happen.
That's exactly what I said last week, though.
I know. But he did kind of do like a weird thing where he was like, Ty Dillon gets to choose a charity and I'll donate
money.
Why do
you think
from
that's
the $1
weird?
million to. I feel like, I don't know why, maybe I'm just like, feels like a weird power play.
I would bet my life on the fact that it was going to happen if any driver won. That's what was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he doesn't even get the
I don't know.
$10,000 that goes to the owner, so he's gonna have to ask his grandpa for the money.
So true. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about an in-season tournament? Yay or nay? Should we do it again?
Yeah, I think it was fine. I think it was weird that NASCAR made us interested in the in-season tournament by telling us and telling the drivers that the money was going to go to the drivers, because then I thought I was rooting for a driver. And then a week before the money was actually handed out, they decided to tell us that, no, it's not going to the drivers, actually. It's going to the owners. And based on the contract, that's how much the drivers are going to get. After I was under the illusion, based on multiple pieces of advertising and quotes from drivers, that obviously the money was going to the drivers. So that felt really slimy. I also think they just didn't... This is how I feel about sprint races and playoffs too, where I don't think it's inherently a bad idea, but it's just like you guys went and did like the most convoluted, confusing fucking way of like deciding the bracket in the first place. Yeah. Why wasn't it on points? Why weren't all the drivers involved? I mean, you might as well, if you're going to have the first track be at like Atlanta, like you might as well just have all the drivers involved so that it goes on longer. I think
it was like they had to weirdly like make it so it was just for the TNT part of the season. So they were like, okay, so like these people don't get to be in the tournament, I guess. But I do agree the seeding it based off of like random races before the tournament. It's like,
but
yeah, okay.
I like that we were able to talk about drivers that we don't typically talk about. I don't know if we would have given Ty Dillon any of the spotlight that we did give him. So I think it was a good idea. From what I hear, it sounds like it was a good idea when Denny used to do it. I obviously wasn't around back then, but Denny used to do essentially what this is. And then NASCAR is like, no, we're going to do it, but we're just going to do it like really, really bad. And I think that's embarrassing and pathetic, but like, okay, sure. Why not?
So the only other thing that we have to talk about for NASCAR, besides fan favorite, which I won't forget, and I don't know if we even want to talk too much about this because it's kind of like before our time, is the weird Twitter beef that happened.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know anything about Mark Martin. I do know about running my mouth. So I can speak to that. Apparently, here's the tea for... I know for a fact people who don't watch NASCAR aren't still listening, but on Sirius XM, there is a NASCAR like show, little radio show, and you would ask me who's on it, and I would go, I don't know, because people said their names. It's one of the guys from the alt cast, Larry,
and then
Danielle.
She's the one who ran the post and pre-show for Prime, and then now she's like the pit lane reporter.
Oh, okay. So they were talking about, I don't know what they were talking about, but somehow they get onto the conversation of there are drivers in the drivers' meetings who are very loud about how they don't like the playoff system, and then Larry Mack makes an aside where he's like, is it someone who's never won a championship or something like that? And then she goes like, bingo, or whatever. Essentially they were just shitting on one of the drivers who is outspoken about the fact that they don't like the playoff system, and people were speculating that it was Mark Martin, who is a retired NASCAR driver who didn't win any championships but is very well respected, and had
is
like
active in whatever like this driver panel thing is that they have with NASCAR, where past and current drivers can like express their thoughts on things.
And so Twitter kind of just had a field day being like, hey, so that's incredibly disrespectful to talk about a driver like that on a NASCAR licensed like radio show. Very, very odd. And then Danielle came out to say something. She basically owns up to it and she
goes, I love you. I love you, but your opinions on the playoffs are completely wrong. We have to have a playoff system.
Yeah. So she kind of, well, that's not exactly like word for word what she said, but she basically owns up to the fact that it was Mark Martin because she like tweeted it at Mark Martin. And then Larry Mack also made a statement, but he was kind of doing I'm not admitting to anything, which I think she probably should have done too. And they kind of came back around and were like, no, it wasn't about Mark Martin at all. Which is not true. Weird behavior. I think the worst part about it wasn't the fact that they're like writing really hard for the way the playoff format system is, which I don't know if anyone thinks that the playoff format system should actually be like this, but just the fact that they were speaking like that about another driver. Like, they're gonna hear it. We can hear what you're saying, right?
I think that, like, it's like, they maybe didn't realize people listen to this radio show.
Sure.
Fair.
I didn't either.
Sure. I didn't either. I didn't listen to the radio show. Somebody put it on Twitter. Thanks for whoever that was. My thing is if you're going to be a mean girl and you're going to, like, talk shit on people, I think the worst thing you can do is say, like, well, no, we weren't talking shit about that person. Because actually what you're doing then is just encouraging the internet to guess who it might be then. And the next logical person it could have been was Denny. And I was like, ooh, so the NASCAR sanctioned talk show is talking shit about the guy that they're in a lawsuit with about how annoying he is for, like, speaking up about ways to improve the sport and being against the playoff system. It's probably not a good look either. So, like, maybe you should have just been like, yeah, you're talking about Mark. You got us. Honestly, it would have been better than, like, trying to, like, start an internet sleuthing game of who they were talking shit about.
They should have literally about somebody. They should have literally just said, we shouldn't have said that. Like, that's on us. And then it would have been done. Everyone would have been happy. But that's not how things work.
I also just think it's, like, insane with love. Like, I'm not trying to shit on, like, one of the few women in NASCAR journalism, but just probably don't tweet, like, we know we love you, but that's just, like, very, like, I think that's just very, I hate that tone. Do you know what I mean? To be like, we love you, but
yeah,
it's like, I think it's really cool that NASCAR has people that are retired from the sport who care enough to still show up to whatever these NASCAR meetings are and to speak about how to improve the sport. I think it's insane to say that the playoff system is the only way you could run the sport when you guys are actually the only motorsport I can think of who runs it that way. I also think it's like, yeah, it's cool you have people that care about the sport. Anybody who cares enough to show up to these meetings, you probably shouldn't talk shit about them.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Simple rule to live by. Do you have a fan favorite?
My fan favorite is Ty Dillon from when he gave that cookie to the Cookie Monster.
Yeah. I think that my favorite The only thing I can think of is the weird posts of Joseph Newgarden with a Ryan Blaney tattoo on his leg, and I don't know if that was from last week or this week.
I think it was from last week.
And I might have even said that as my favorite last week, but it's actually the only thing I could think of. So I think Ryan Blaney actually gets 2 votes for that.
I'm surprised he wasn't in the Navy promo video, the San Francisco promo video, because he did such a good job for the Chicago one. But whatever.
One last question for the audience. In the Navy promo video, all of the drivers had little call signs. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, Chase Elliott was Peaches.
That's a crazy one.
I think Noah Gragson was, like, the Riz. I think that
Joey Logano was Zamboni.
Yeah, Carson was Hot Shot.
Oh.
He was Hot Shot.
I don't like that.
William Byron was, like, something with, like, flames.
Oh, I think it was Flames. Yeah.
So I don't know if you had, like, a call sign in mind for yourself, MJ, but I think maybe people in the comments could leave, like, what they think their call sign would be, or, like, you know what I mean? I think that'd be fun.
Everyone give yourself a call sign, and we will only address you as that moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do.
My call sign right now would be sleepy, because it is 30 minutes from my bedtime.
Just keep in mind, guys, it's 8:30 p.m. Central Time.
I go to sleep 9 p.m., wake up every day, 4:45 a.m.
That's insane. Don't do that anymore.
Well, I can't, because I go to bed at 9 p.m., so when am I supposed to sleep till?
Right. I can see how that's a flaw in your
You
plan.
get it. You get it.
So with that, I think that's another successful episode of Laps Down in the books. What do we got to do to keep, like, the energy throughout the whole episode, MJ?
We got to film earlier. As soon as it hits 8 p.m., I'm out.
I will say, like, we do have permission from the audience to make this a Tuesday podcast.
We can make it a Tuesday podcast, but we will still have to keep it under 3 hours, because it will still hit 8 p.m. if we start. This is 3 hours.
No.
Yes, it is. Unless we cut something out. I think going forward, we need to, let's just have, like, a little discussion right now. I think we need to revise the way, me specifically, the way I talk about, like, the IndyCar races, and do more, like, big themes instead of, like, lap by lap. So instead of talking about, like, 30 little things, I talk about, like, 5 big things, and that's it.
Yeah. That could maybe, and if we do that with NASCAR, that could maybe get us down to a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, and F1, we already kind of do that.
Right, we do kind of already do that for F1.
So we'll keep it more concise. I think it's that we just
like IndyCar and NASCAR, so we end up talking about it a lot.
We could, we'll keep it more concise, and then if we want to do, like, longer race reviews or something, we can do it for 4 laps or something. But I just think we just need to tighten it up a little bit, and then I won't be so sleepy by the time we get to, like, stage 3 of NASCAR.
Or you could take, like, a little stage 2 nap.
I did.
During the NASCAR segment.
Oh, during, like, while we're
on
talking?
The podcast.
Yeah, I could do that. You just see me, like, conk out.
We'll keep it in mind. I don't know. We're gonna work this, guys. Thank you for sticking around the last couple weekends. I know we've been a little sleepy. Hopefully we've still been a little funny. I don't know.
We'll get better, guys. I promise. We'll get better. I don't feel great about these last few episodes, but I promise we'll get better. No one's even listening at this point besides, like, Nikki. Nikki, we'll get better. I promise.
Nikki, I'm sorry. You don't even have to comment trying to reassure us.
We get it. It's fine.
And we're just, like, powering through for the sake of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll smell you guys later. Love y'all. Have a fun time this week. Okay, bye.
Bye.